Welcome to the inaugural episode of the Speakeasy podcast, or just Speakeasy. So this is a podcast that we're going to be doing that is going to just be talking about life, liberty, the state of the world, politics, the meaning of life. We're just going to dive into each and every topic that we have available to us. It's going to be a fun, casual way for you guys to hang out with us and chill. My name's Adonis. Me and the homies are gonna be here with you guys. Hopefully twice a month is what we're gonna start with. And like I said, it's gonna be potpourri conversation, just whatever may happen to be topical. We might do some throwback conversations. It's really just, what we feel like will generate the best conversation for you guys. All with the centerpiece of great drinks, because that is what the theme of the podcast is. We're going to be drinking cocktails. We're going to highlight a different cocktail every episode. So, it should be a fun time. Alcohol is a great conversation generator. We're gonna get into it. But speaking of the homies, so every episode I'm gonna be joined by these two guys. I'm gonna introduce you guys to the crew. First off, we got Mr. Matthew over there. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, man. Good to be back.
Yeah, good to be back, Matt. We're gonna have some fun conversation with you a little bit later because you just got back from a very interesting convention in Las Vegas, right?
Fantastic.
Yeah,
I did.
So we'll get into
I'll
that.
need more of this.
We'll get into that a little bit later, and then we're also going to be hanging out this episode and every episode with the guy Luis. What's up, man?
Hey, man. Thank you for having me. This is something new for me.
Yeah, this is something new. If you guys are familiar with my previous work with Matt, I've been podcasting, and we'll get into this a little bit deeper in just a few moments, but Matt and I have been podcasting together for a really long time. Luis has been sort of the guest host on our podcast throughout the years, here and there. I think you said 3 times you've been on episodes, 2
of which were lost.
So one. So you guys might have heard Luis if you're a die-hard fan of our old podcast, The Movie Docs. You guys might recognize his voice, but otherwise, we're gonna welcome him with open arms. Welcome to the podcast world. He's gonna be here with us every week. So, we wanted to give you guys a little bit of an introduction to who we are. Obviously, like I said, I know a lot of you guys are probably coming from one of our other podcasts that we've done, but for any new listeners, we wanted to give you guys a little bit of a quick little insight into who we are. So we're going to do 90-second introductions. That's going to be our first segment of the day. So like I said, this is just going to be very basic information so you guys can see if you want to, stick around and hang out with us. So I'm going to kick this off. So like I said, 90 seconds. So Matt's got a clock for me. He's going to start it when I say go, and I'm just going to tell you guys who we are, or who I am. All right, so my name is Adonis. I was born and raised in Detroit, Michigan. I lived in the Midwest for most of my young adult life. Moved out here to Arizona when I was a 21-year-old lad. I'm 34 now, almost 35. I've been in Arizona for, like I said, that's about 14 years, which is crazy to think about. I am married. I've been married for, I haven't been married for very long, but I've been with my wife for a very long time. So it feels like I've been married for a lot longer than I have been. I have a beautiful 2-year-old daughter named Amara. I spend most of my time just being a husband and being a dad. I do love podcasting. I'm a huge podcasting nerd. I listen to podcasts all the time. I'm always producing or hosting podcasts. I don't know if you guys could hear that, but on cue, that's my little one. I've been podcasting for the better part of 10 years. Other than podcasting, I spend my time watching a lot of movies, a lot of TV shows. I'm a big Detroit sports fan. If you guys didn't know by the jersey, go Lions, go Pistons, go Red Wings, go Tigers. And I got about 10 seconds left, so that went a lot faster than I thought it would. That's me in a nutshell. All right. That does go faster than you think, guys. So,
90 seconds. Yeah, I was like in my mind, I was like, man, that seems like too long.
I had a lot more in my head that I was going to say, but I guess we'll get into that as the podcast grows and goes.
Yeah, you can say that.
Yeah. All right. So we'll kick it to Luis next. Luis will go 90 seconds on the clock. Let me get that pulled up here. I guess we could have just had Matt do it again, but
I was gonna say, I got it right here.
Okay, if you want to do it,
yeah,
then.
I can do it again.
Okay, cool.
All right.
First episode, guys.
Say when
Bear
you
with
want
us.
to go.
Yeah. So, Luis, right? I'm also 34, so that's a nice connection right there. I am originally from Jalisco, so Mexico.
Okay.
My dad actually came here first when I was 4, and then our family followed short after. And I've been here ever since. I think I visited one time for my first communion, and that was it. Haven't gone back. Apart from that, I've lived in Arizona most of my life. School, family, those were big things, right? And then I started getting more into my culture, more into my family. So I played mariachi before I met you guys. I actually met you guys at work after that, but I played mariachi through elementary, junior high, and high school, and then continued that quite a bit after I was teaching. Wanted to find something more stable, so picked up a job, right? I fell in love with the job and grew with that job. It's now my career, and I love what I do with it. It's given me the opportunity to help a lot of people, to travel, to learn a whole bunch of stuff that I normally wouldn't do. So big core of that. We can dive into what it is later. Apart from that, I have 2 younger siblings. I have a little brother and a little sister. We like to hang out. We do fun activities together. And you are right. That actually goes a lot faster
Right?
than what I thought. So
That's what I'm saying. You have this whole thing mapped out in your brain.
I know, but we'll dive into my hobbies and what I like later on.
All right, there we go. All right, Matt, you've had some practice. Now you can see how fast it goes. So
Right.
we'll go to you next here. I'll get a timer pulled up for you, sir, so you don't have to monitor it yourself.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Let me. All right, whenever you're ready.
Go. All right. So, yep. My name is Matt. I am a gamer, boxer, podcaster, which I never thought podcasting would be something I would say. I was born in Virginia, Newport News. We moved here when I was 3, but I always say I'm an Arizona native. Live in my old family home to this day. I love it. Have a great relationship with my mom and my aunt. And yeah, I pretty much about me is I like to think that I'm someone who I try to keep a very high moral compass. If I think something is wrong, I'm always down to try and debate it. But usually if it's like, hey, I don't like this, I'm going to stay pretty close to my heart and stay true to it. I like to party. And I say that in a weird way. Like, I like dancing, man. Give me a good drink. Give me good music. I'm having a great time. I like all ranges of music, all ranges of art. I'm a big movie fan. And again, video games are a pretty high part of my life. If you're wondering where I'm at on a Friday night, I'm probably chilling in my PJs playing computer games. You guys had so much more time. I'm good. I don't think there's too much more I could say. Happy to be here. Thank you for joining us on this journey. Love y'all and can't wait to see how this goes.
All right, there we go. That's how it's done, folks. So yeah, 90 seconds. I know, again, that's not a lot of time to get to know us. So, but hopefully there was something in there that you guys could sort of connect with and that you like about us, and you'll keep listening. If there wasn't anything, come on, that's 90 seconds. It's really, not fair to judge us based off of 90 seconds. So, stick around anyway. I'm sure there will be something that comes up later on that will be able to convince you to stick around for. But yeah, that's who we are, guys. We're just 3 Arizona boys that are trying to chill and have conversations with you guys. So if you need a way to unwind after a long day or a long week at work, we're here to hang out and have a drink with you. Speaking of drinks, so like I said in the open, each week or each episode, we're going to be highlighting a cocktail. So this week was my choice. I went with my all-time favorite cocktail, and that is this basic bitch drink right here called a Cuba Libre, a rum and coke. Basic isn't always bad. I think basic gets a bad reputation because people hear basic and they immediately, it has a negative connotation, but it's not always a bad thing. Sometimes basic is good. And this is a prime example of basic being good. So we'll have a video that'll accompany this. So go check that out. It should be up by the time we post this episode of the making of the drink, and a little bit of a few fun facts about it. So why did I pick this drink? Why do I like it so much? Just because it's very easy to consume. When I was, in my party days, like Matt is currently in his party days, it was just something really easy to make. I'm a big fan of rum. I'm pretty sure I was a pirate in a previous life. And yeah, it just tastes really good. It's very enjoyable, refreshing. I'm a big fan of Coca-Cola as well. So yeah, that's what we're rocking with today is a rum and Coke. So they'll get maybe a little more exotic. I know Luis here is he was a bartender for quite a few years, so I'm sure he'll craft up some more creative cocktails. Matt, we'll see how deep he can get into his bag. I'm expecting a Bahama Mama at some point.
That actually is probably going to be my first one is Bahama Mama, because as much as I like to drink, I'm a fruity drinker. I love my sweet drinks, man. Bahama Mamas, Rhode Island iced teas, or Long Island iced teas. Problem is, though,
I'm sure there's a Rhode Island iced tea.
There probably might be, but my problem is we got to drink this and then go home.
Yeah, this is true. Yeah,
look, but we drink responsibly. We're not goofballs.
Absolutely.
But definitely, I also don't want to mess everybody up.
Yeah,
while trying to get home.
No, you're gonna keep me on my toes with your drinks though.
Yeah, the Bahama Mama. Watch out. That's probably my first one. You probably called me out.
Too many ingredients.
All right. So yeah, that's our highlighted drink of the week. Like I said, there'll be a more in-depth video up for you guys to check that out. But we just wanted to call it out during the episode. But with that being said, we are going to go to our first. We won't have many segments on this podcast. Again, it's more of just a casual conversation podcast. But there are a few segments that we'll have planned out for you guys. And this first one is one that I'm very passionate about. I love making lists. I know I didn't say that during my 90-second intro, but I'm a big list guy. I love ranking things. I'm all about it. So there will be plenty of that on this show. But yeah, we're going to jump into our first ranking during a segment that I like to call Top 5. Pretty straightforward. Sure you guys can imagine what we're going to be doing. We're going to be ranking 5 of a thing. So we're going to start off. Our first top 5 segment is going to be top 5 artists or bands that we're currently listening to, that are currently in rotation. So not all time top 5, not who you think is the best of all time top 5, but who are you listening to right now? Now, I'm sure some of those favorite artists will trickle in to that list, but we don't always listen to our favorite artist all the time. So we'll go Matt first on this one. So Matt, hit us with your top 5 artists or bands that are currently in rotation.
All right. So currently on my rotation
5 to 1. Sorry,
5 to 1. All right. So number 5, Post Malone. Okay. Number 4, Kendrick Lamar. Number 3, Chappelle Roan. Number 2, Joji. And number 1, Noah Khan.
Okay. Interesting list there.
I said widespread. I said I got a widespread of music I love.
It's funny too, because not to correct you, but I know Chappell Roan has been very upset with people mispronouncing her name. So if she's listening, Chappell, I'm sure Matt did not mean to mispronounce.
I when I look at it, I'm very bad with we had a game a while back where you were like, Matt, pronounce these names. I'm very terrible.
Yeah, it is a thing. It's a thing, folks.
But I will definitely get that right going forward.
Yeah, no, but she's probably the most surprised pick that I would pull off your list. She's huge right now. She's got a ton of fans. But I don't know if 35-year-old, not 35, you're 33?
33 this next Saturday.
33-year-old gamers. I don't know if...
Hey, man, she sounds so much like Cyndi Lauper.
Interesting.
Which has such a really fun vibe, like listening to Good Luck Babe and Pink Pony Club. They're just really... And also, it's if I can dance and jam to your music, I'm having a great time.
Fair enough.
And I think that she does that very well.
Yeah, I'm a big King Princess fan. For anybody out there who listens to KP, and she I've been to a few of her shows, but she called out during one of her shows that all of her fans are lesbian or gay. And I was just kind of like, yeah, definitely,
You're sitting there.
definitely not, definitely an ally for sure. But like, yeah, no, I don't fit the category of what her normal fans are probably like.
Hey, man, you make good music, and
Exactly.
you can jam to it. You got a fan in me.
Gotcha. And I don't know if I'm familiar with Joji. What is?
So he had a YouTube career for a while where he was Dirty Dan, I think is what he was.
Oh.
Yeah, he was just like a troll, essentially, a troll YouTuber. But he's done that song, "Slow Dancing in the Dark," "Sanctuary." He's sad boy music. I'll be up front.
Okay.
It's sad boy music.
You have to send me a couple of songs. I don't
You
know
won't
if I've
like
ever even heard of him.
Dude, I'm writing
He was your
this
number
right now.
one.
Noah Khan.
Noah Khan. Okay. Again, not super. I think you showed me a couple of his songs before,
Yeah.
but definitely not somebody who I have personally listened to outside of your recommendations.
I do think you would like him.
Really?
Yeah, you like folk music. And,
I do love folk music.
and he's a really really great folk singer.
Okay.
So I definitely enjoy listening to him as I'm like, you'll be driving or like like doing something, you start contemplating real hard with his music.
Okay. Then obviously Posty. Posty's
Gotta have a
obviously
boy.
familiar with Posty. And who else was on there?
Kendrick Lamar.
Kendrick Lamar. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Understandable. All right. What do you see? Anything to add or criticize about Matt's list there?
It's whack.
Damn.
No. There were definitely some stuff I didn't expect. And I also made my list a little bit backwards, but I mean, like you said, they overlap. So
Yeah.
I'm tweaking two things as we
Okay.
go forward.
No worries. We'll let you go last then. Yeah, so my list, let me get it pulled up here on the old cellular device. Okay, so from 5 to 1 for me, I'm going to go number 5, Killer Mike. Number 4, Mac Miller. Number 3, Earl Sweatshirt. Number 2, Frank Ocean. And number 1, Kendrick Lamar.
All right.
Yeah.
The second you said Killer Mike, I was like, who?
Killer Mike. Most people will know Killer Mike. Well, not most people. A lot of people will know Killer Mike from his career as one half of Run the Jewels.
Oh.
Yeah, RTJ. It's big. He was actually a part of. I'm not sure if he got his start as a part of the Dungeon Family, which was the group that Outkast debuted. Like most rappers, once they make it big, they will put on their people from their neighborhood, people that they help them get to where they are. So you have a lot of people who come up together. And I believe he was a part of the Dungeon Family. I know he definitely collaborated with them a lot. But yeah, he's very sort of. It's conscious hip hop, but it's also got like an aggressive feel to it.
Okay.
His last album, Michael, was huge. It won the Grammy for best rap album the year it came out. A lot of just, like I said, very conscious, very heavy hitting, hard hitting songs. Very different from what he. That's not fair. It's not a fair criticism because he raps the way he does when he raps with Run the Jewels, but I think the subject matter is a little bit different when he's by himself. Just because I think Run the Jewels is a little more. I don't want to say poppy, but it's a little more
Family friendly? That's what comes to my mind when I think Run the
Really?
Jewels. Yeah.
I wouldn't say RTG is necessarily family friendly. They're just a little more. It's not as
Mainstream?
not as much depth to the lyrics.
okay,
I
okay.
guess it's a little light, a lot more lighter than what he does when he's by himself.
Gotcha.
But yeah, he's a great artist. Definitely, I'll send you some songs from him. But
Yeah, I was gonna say if there was one song that you could choose to like, if someone was like, "Hey, I'm kind of interested in Killer Mike," what's one song you'd be like, "You listen to this one"?
Well, like I said, his new album Michael's what's been in rotation for me. So off that album, I think my favorite song is a song called "Shed Tears."
Shed Tears.
Yeah,
Okay.
"Shed Tears" is probably my favorite song off that album. Either that or the opening track "Down by Law." Yeah, so either one of those two would be recommended for sure. That whole album is incredible, though. Like I said, it won Grammy for best rap album, which I know isn't the be all end all of music, but it
pretty good, though.
It is something to be proud of for sure.
And who was your other one? Jersey what? Gene what?
Earl Sweatshirt, is that who you're
Earl
referring to?
Sweatshirt.
Yeah,
That
so two members of Odd Future on my five current.
Odd Future.
Yeah, Odd Future, and not Tyler. Most people, when you think Odd Future, you think Tyler the Creator.
For sure you do.
But no, I love all of Odd Future. Tyler, obviously, is incredible. Frank is, I know we're not doing a top artist list, but Frank Ocean is by far my favorite artist. Frank Ocean is, to me, what Lord of the Rings is. Frank Ocean is to music what Lord of the Rings is for film. Like it's in its own category for me.
Yeah.
Like I don't even compare other films to the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I don't compare other artists to Frank Ocean because there's no point. Because I will always prefer Frank Ocean.
No, he's got a really beautiful range of music that he does.
And his two albums, well, that's the crazy thing. He's really only put out 2 full albums. Like he's got a mixtape, Nostalgia Ultra, that he put out early in his career, and then there's another album called Endless that was sort of like a way for him to get out of his contract. So he technically has like 4 projects, but he really only has 2. And the fact that he's made it up to the top of my Mount Rushmore with just 2 albums
speaks for itself.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, he's in a league of his own. But anyway, Earl Sweatshirt is another member of Odd Future who is an underrated artist, super good. His album Doris is one that's always in rotation for me. He's got another album called Some Rap Songs that's always in rotation for me. He's just like a true like hip hop artist. Like it's like backpack rap, but it's also, like I said, it just has that's my thing. I love substance. Like music is all about lyrics for me. So that's why all of my artists are rappers, because while I appreciate music and I think that's a skill and a talent on its own, like music for me has always been about lyrics and substance. So that's what I always prioritize when listening. That's what always resonates the most with me. So Earl is great. I'm sure if you heard him, you would probably recognize a few of his songs. He was Odd Future did the Loader Squad show. Earl, the prison sketch.
Yeah,
he's the main guy in the prison sketch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So if you want a visual of what he looks like, that's him. Which again, you look at that guy, like he's a rapper. Like he makes really good. Yeah, he makes incredible music, incredibly dope music, and him and Frank are definitely mainstays on my Spotify, my Amazon, always.
Hell yeah.
And then obviously Kendrick Lamar.
I mean,
excuse me. Yeah, he is my favorite. He will always be my favorite. Obviously this was his year. He had a hell of a year. And he took the #1 spot from the artist who he who must not be named,
no longer,
who will not ever get any attention from me ever again.
Wow,
so
really?
Yeah, no, fuck
completely erased from history.
Yeah, like he's been blocked on my Spotify.
Oh.
Yeah, he's been.
You can block on Spotify?
Yeah.
No way.
You can say, "Do not play songs from this person," and they won't.
Wow.
Yeah. Great feature.
That's wild. I had no idea.
Yeah. And like I said, I don't want to give him any more attention. So we haven't said his name, which is great, but I don't even want to give him any more attention. So, and then Mac Miller, obviously.
You love Mac.
I love Mac. Have. Yeah, Mac's great, and his posthumous albums have been great. Circles was great. He just came out with he didn't come out with it. His estate put out a new project called Balloonerism that came out a few months ago, so that's been in heavy rotation for me. A really good album, definitely worth checking out. I really just love the way his estate has handled his music after he's died. It's just been really respectful. John Bryan has worked with him a lot. Or again, I keep saying worked with him. Worked with them. Worked with his estate. Worked with his family a lot to put out some of this music. And John Bryan is a genius in my opinion. So, that's my list.
That's your list. Cool. We have some overlap, but not on the actual list, because I do have Mac Miller and Kendrick as like a rotating thing.
Yeah.
But with my Spotify list, like I just hit shuffle with everything I've liked. So yeah, I hit shuffle with everything I've liked, and that's kind of why I was like, well, I thought it was supposed to be a top 5, and I changed.
Clearly says Luis, artist bands that are currently having rotation.
I know. But so rotation right now, I'm going to start with number 5 is tied with Ariana Grande and Hobo Johnson.
This guy doing ties. Did we say honorable mentions?
They're tied. It's
5
one
and
song
4.
and then the next one.
Ariana. Okay.
Number
Ariana Grande. Oh, sorry. We're supposed to just be letting you
I
go.
know.
Yeah.
Go.
No, number 4 is Amine.
Start over.
Okay. 5. Yeah, it goes to Ariana, sorry.
Okay.
Number 4, Amine. Number 3, Alejandro Fernandez. Number 2, Fall Out Boy. And then number 1, Rex Live Raj.
Okay.
Ariana Grande. Yeah,
Ariana Grande being on the list.
Listen,
Hey.
Ariana she arguably has one of the best voices, I think, ever. Like, I think pure talent voice-wise. I can't say I'm a big fan of her music. I love her voice. I think she's got a killer voice. But, yeah, I'm not throwing on Thank You Next personally.
Well, you're married, so you really there is no.
No,
thank you
but
next.
but I'm just saying, like, so what about Ariana? Like, again, sort of like, King Princess isn't on my list, but she's someone that I love. Matt with Chaperone. What about
so
Ariana?
like kind of like how Matt said, and then you called me out. Thank you next. I got in a mood driving home. And I was like, let's put on some of my sad boy music. And my sad boy music.
Ariana Grande is your sad boy music.
Why not?
Oh man, okay.
Quality.
Hey, no, fair enough.
Yeah.
So that's mainly been why. That and then Wicked just came out.
Yeah.
Great movie,
a couple
by
months
the way.
ago. So
Fall Out Boy being your number 2 is
Makes sense.
I
get that.
Fall Out
I thought
Boy
they would
being
be
on
number
the
one.
list.
Yeah, I
Yeah, I
thought
thought
they
so
would be
too.
number
they're not number 1. So Rex Live Raj took over number 1 during the pandemic, right?
Gotcha.
I found him, started listening to him, and just it's always going to be number 1 for me from now on. And it's same thing, he's only put out like 4 albums, but Father Figure is a classic, and Moonwalk, both great albums. My favorite song, I've listened to it any given year since then at least 50 times. It goes on repeat.
Any given time is the song name?
No. The Fog. The Fog is the name.
Fog. Okay.
Yeah. So, but any given time, I'll sit there and I'll just loop it.
Hell yeah.
It's got a great message. It helps me calm down too. So, like for my meetings, it gets me in the right mindset.
Yeah. That's an interesting call out because I agree with that because his music, and this is gonna sound weird, is very loopable. Like he writes the type of music that's very like you can just listen to it over and over again.
I love that.
Yeah, like when you first introduced me to him, Time, right? That's the name of the song.
Time.
Yeah,
yeah.
I listened to that song so much like that it ended up in my top 5 for the Spotify Wrapped that year, and it was pretty late in the year when you had recommended it to me because it was like a few months before my wedding, I think, and I got married in November, so it had to be in the second half of the year.
You were just listening.
August, September,
no,
I think.
That was definitely a song that I played
Time?
a lot. Time, yeah.
Okay.
Great song.
So Time
Great
and
song.
Fog. I'm listening to those on my way home today.
Both on the same album, so
okay.
you can just run the album; it'll go straight into each other.
Nice.
But yeah, so Rex Live Raj and that one song alone, so The Fog is gonna be like my favorite song of all time, and so
Great song.
even if I can't, I'm like, I don't feel like listening to too much music, or I've been watching through videos on YouTube, whatever, and I need to switch the mindset. It's a great reset.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Who else did you have on there?
So Alejandro Fernandez,
Okay.
Part of my thing was that I did mariachi for so many years, and I've been playing the instrument or the violin for like 26, 28 years, something like that.
Oh, wow.
And mariachi for 20 years. So, like he was the first artist that I got introduced to, first song that I sang, big part of my life. And, when I need to get something out and I need to like vocalize, sing, or just get into certain feelings again, I'll just start singing. Like his voice, is very elevated, very precise. Right now he's on a tour as one of the top mariachi performers.
Oh, wow.
His dad used to be, the king, Vicente Fernandez el Rey. So, he is what mariachi music is to me.
Gotcha.
Nice.
Nice. And that's cool that that's still in your rotation, even though, like, because I mean, you still obviously mariachi is still a big part of your life, but you've moved on, like you said, to a career. But that's cool that's stuck with you, because the things that drive our passions don't always stick with us as we move on to other things. So that's cool that stuck around. And I know obviously Matt and I know you very well, so we know that you are Fall Out Boy fan till you die. But what I know, Fall Out Boy has been around forever. For one thing, they've been sort of the poster boy for emo music.
Yes.
But I wouldn't consider you like a punk emo kind of guy. I don't know if that was a part of who you were as like a high schooler. But
it was okay. So I got into Fall Out Boy I think in junior high, and at that point I went one of two ways. Before I even got into like mariachi music, I found rock music, punk music through a couple of friends. They used to live close by. They wanted to get a group together, and as a musician, you're like, oh, well, I play this instrument or I play that. Oh, maybe we should get together, form a band. And so they were very, very big on Blink-182. And growing up, I was raised similar to Matt with the morals, and you have to behave, you have to be proper, not much cursing. I used to get yelled at, or Mexican culture, we get the belt. So Fall Out Boy was one of those that they didn't curse in any of their songs.
Oh, is that right? They don't curse?
Not really.
No. So getting into that, and I learned to play the bass guitar. Pete Wentz was iconic as his time for being like the bad boy doing crazy stuff, and but not bad enough to where he was like drinking, or he was in drugs and drinking, but but
he
not
did
getting
not
arrested.
Swear, okay,
Well,
he had a clean vocabulary.
Yeah, exactly.
It's funny that he calls that out because he's absolutely right. I think the hardest I've never heard them drop like F-bombs or anything like that. But when I think of Dance Dance, it's like, or no, This Ain't a Scene, it's a goddamn arms race.
Yeah, that's the hardest thing.
I think that's the most I've ever heard them quote unquote cuss.
They didn't start off as like a Christian band or anything.
No, it was a
I know a lot
screamo
of
band.
emo bands do. Yeah.
They start off as a screamo band, and so like Pete Wentz, again, he was the main screamer, and then something happened where like Pete Wentz, who's the guitarist, the lead vocalist, like he really dove into music, and I think their third album, Folie à Deux, or maybe the fourth, but Folie à Deux, there was a lot more musicality to it. One of my favorite songs is Winona, I think, but they had a whole orchestra behind it. So like this guy knows his music, and if you listen to it, you can kind of piece together, well, and it made sense for me. Like, all right, I know where this is going. I like these tunes. We're throwing in piano, strings, the vocals are pretty on point, and then back to the pandemic, like the album that they put out, it was meaningful. It was like, we understand what is happening sucks.
Yeah.
And this is going to be our way out of it. And quite literally, like some of the songs that they do is like, we're crawling out. Like we see the staircase. We're shooting to get past this. So, that's why, from a teenager to now, they've kind of stuck with it because every album has a way to connect with the audience.
Gotcha. That's cool. All right, solid list. Anybody else on there you want to call out?
I mean, so Amine.
Yeah. Again, familiar with the name. I couldn't tell you a song.
He was very popular like back in like 2018, 2019 with his album Yellow.
Is it pop music or is it more?
No, it's
hip-hop?
rap.
Okay.
Hip hop. I'm trying to think of the lyrics right now, but Spice Girl is one of the songs. Veggies is another song, but Dakota is my favorite song from him. So similar things, like the rock is pop rock and culture rock. So he makes a lot of references to what's going on or what's happening.
Okay.
And it's fun. Honestly, like it's got a message while being fun and loud. So that's why I like it. Cool.
All right. That's our first top 5, guys. I think we nailed it there. So we're gonna jump into our first of many conversations on the podcast here. So I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about something that I saw online the other day. The founder and I don't have the story pulled up. Bad practice, I know. I'm sorry. I'll be better in the future. I saw this story about the CEO and owner. I don't know if she was the founder of Spanx, the company that provides, like, I don't know exactly what they are, but they're like elastic shorts or bodysuits for women, that sort of, and not just for women, I guess, but bodysuits that sort of hold things into place. She sold her majority stake in the company for $1.2 billion. So she basically cashed out her whatever ownership shares she had, and she gave her employees, and this is where I wish I had the story pulled up, but she gifted them each $10,000 and two first class tickets anywhere in the world. So she basically, gave everybody in her company, like, a parting gift, basically. I don't think they lost their jobs. I don't think it was like a severance package or anything like that. I think she just said, hey, I cashed out on this. You guys helped me to get to where I am.
Yeah.
Here's a little gift for you, as I leave, a parting gift. A lot of the comments on that were positive, like, oh, that's really cool, because I think her employees had a very positive response to that. I think she, like, surprised them with it. So it was like, oh, they were all super excited. But there was also, as comments online are, there was a darker side of the comment section where it was like, she got $1.2 billion and all she gave them was like, because it turned out, if you looked at it, like the most expensive, like, first class ticket anywhere in the world was like $6,000 to $8,000. So it's like, at maximum, you're probably looking at $30,000 for each person. And they're like, that's not even like a drop in the bucket of how much money she made from that. Like, she could have done like so much more. People, like I said, people on the internet are like,
it's like you can always do more.
Critics, exactly. Like, but I wanted to get your guys' input on that, and also on just like how, like, $1.2 billion is a lot of money. She gave away probably like less than a percent of that to her employees, and so, like, a part of me is like, yeah, I mean, I can. That's a great gesture. That's super awesome. But could she have given them a little more? Like, do you really need $1.1 billion? Like, could you, like, so that's the question. Like, how much money do you need? Like, how much money do you need? Like, we see all these billionaires like Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk who have these hundreds of billions of dollars, and they just seem to just continually just earn money. And it's like, when does it stop? What are you ever going to do with that much money? Because you're not giving it away. You're not giving, a bigger chunk of it to charity. So what are you... But they keep making money, right? It's not like they're stopping. It's not like they're retiring. They're continuing to make money. So as three dudes who don't have anywhere near $1 billion, how much money do you need? Like, how much money would you be like, okay, that's enough, I'm just gonna, give the rest to charity? Would it ever become that? Would you be like, these billionaires we have now? They're like, I just want to keep making more, and then again, I don't know what they're saving for, but like, but what would be your cap? So we'll start with the first half of that question. We'll go to Louis first. Is that her gift to her employees? Was that good enough? Would you have expected more?
See, and so you say that, and then there was another, I don't remember if it was Starbucks or it was Burger King. I read a story about an employee who had been there for 20 some odd years, and their manager gave them like a gift card, a Starbucks coffee cup, and then some other stuff that the guy liked.
Yeah,
for 20 years, right?
But not to interrupt you, but Burger King has how many millions of employees worldwide?
Well, and it was the manager too, right?
Yeah.
So, but it all goes down to, like, for me, like, what is your ambition? What is your passion? What are you going to do with it, right? She walked away with $1 billion. What is she going to do with it? What was her ambition? She wanted to help out. She made a product, right? A job accomplished. What's her next step? If she's going to do more or try and, expand on that, then yeah, she might need, let's say, 80% of that.
Like you're saying, to invest in something else?
To invest in something else, or to get another project going, or get back, right? But for the employees, like, you got to think about it too, is like, what was their level of involvement? So I think it's a great start. I think it's not 1% of what we should be doing. I think 5-10% of when they cash out is a little bit more understandable and reasonable. Because again, what are you going to do with $1 billion?
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point to bring up, because maybe maybe she is planning to reinvest it. Maybe, you know, the internet just thinks she's going to hoard it and just go live on the beach somewhere, which honestly is what I would do. But like if you are going to reinvest it into something, maybe you do already have plans about what you're going to put it into. Maybe a big chunk of it is already accounted for. Maybe you have debts you have to pay off.
Exactly.
You know, how much of that are you actually going to take home? Probably a big chunk of it.
Yeah.
But that's a good. Yeah, those are good points. What about you, Matt? What do you think?
So one thing, because I wanted to look this up,
Yeah.
legally you can only gift up to $18,000 to a person a year without the IRS taking money from that.
Okay,
From what you gift.
You hope that was in her mind when she did this. You know.
You hope. And, you know, she's got that $8,000 margin of error.
Yeah.
I think, in all honesty, that's a really great gesture. I mean, that's a house payment down, or that's a car payment down, you know, for at least 2 months, depending, at least a few months, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, and maybe it's just me, but like in that, if I was an employee, I was gifted 10 grand and a ticket anywhere, I'm like, damn, all right, I'm feeling pretty happy about that.
You could. I mean, honestly, if you get to keep your job, so
Yeah.
you're still making money. And you say, hey, let's just go take a dope ass trip. We got
Yes.
the airfare taken care of. We can spend the $10K on the trip.
Leave the kids. Who cares about them? I'm going somewhere.
Yeah.
Somewhere dope. Yeah, I think for me, like, again, like looking up the gifting law, because like when you said the story, I was like, I think you can only give someone like a few thousand like dollars before the IRS is like, okay, well now we need to tax at you. So 10,000 to and a trip anywhere. Again, as an employee, I'm like, girl, I miss you. If you need me to do anything, please. Like, if you need someone to just like work for you again, I'll go. I'll go work with you.
Yeah, it's an interesting topic because I can see both sides of it. And I mean, like you said, there's that gifting law or whatever, but you can, just tax it then. Like, give me
true.
100K, tax it at 50%. That's still 50K, like or whatever. I mean, $100,000 wouldn't be taxed at 50%, but yeah, no, I agree with it. It would depend also like on how many employees she had, like how much is this gonna, I don't want to say hurt you, but how much is this affecting your checkbook? Like, again, a gift is a gift. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. Like, she didn't have to do anything.
Yeah, she
could
did
have
not.
just said peace.
Peace. I got my $1.2 billion.
Thank you so much. Here's a pizza party. Like,
yes, here's a pizza party.
Like, she didn't have to do anything, but I think to a certain extent she did have to do something, right? Court of public opinion is incredibly powerful. So if she wouldn't have done anything, she would have, gotten called out in the media, which can lead to other problems. So maybe she did have to do something, and maybe this was the middle ground. Maybe she was like, I can do X, Y, or Z, and I'm going to do Y. I feel like
most of it.
Yeah. So I don't think it's a bad gift. I think it's awesome. I mean, her employees were appreciative of it. It's just the people online who have some sort of problem with this. So I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Could she have done more if she wanted to? Going back to Luis's point, it kind of depends on what she is going to do with the rest of her money. Like,
and then it brought up to like my mind is like residual. Like, so, okay, this year you get that, and then let's say she could have done it for 5 years.
Yeah.
And they're set up for 5 years. But then how much help is it? Because if you're going to get 10K every year,
yeah,
what are you going to do? You're just going to put in the work.
If I got a 10K raise every year, I would be happy with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm staying with that company for sure. If we get a 10K raise
anything,
every year.
The loyalty's there. So
yeah, you bought my loyalty for sure.
But cool. All right, so part B of that question. How much money, again, speaking as you in your position where you are now, how much money do you need?
Is too much money is what you're asking.
Yeah, how much money would you say you need to
live
be who you
comfortably?
want to be? Not even live comfortably. Like, if you want to live beyond your means, let that be the threshold. But like, yeah, how much money do you need?
Are we talking like a year or period, lifetime?
Yeah. If someone were to gift you a chunk of money, like we're in this scenario, we're the CEO of the company, not the employee getting the gift.
That's a tough one.
I think for me to live like the way I want to, I couldn't see it. It sounds like it's gonna sound low, but it's not low. Like, if I had like $100 million, right?
You think that sounds low?
That does. I mean, like, because someone's like, "Oh, I need like $1 billion, or I need 500 mil." I don't know.
Can we time out really quick? What to live the way you want to? What do you want to do?
So
I don't want to have to worry about bills. I don't want. I also want to be able to help out like my family and friends that I really care about.
Sure, yeah.
I've always thought about it because like you guys remember cribs, and like you get these people who have these lavish garages.
Yeah.
I'm like, I want one really dope ass car. I want to be able to like eat the way I want to eat. Travel wherever I want to travel. So I feel like lowballing it, like if I had like 100 mil.
Lowball.
Yeah, I know, it sounds so bad to say that because like, man, that's not lowball. No, I understand.
Definitely not lowball.
Because like, but you couldn't do that with $1 million due to inflation.
No, $1 million. No, yeah,
I couldn't.
Yeah.
I think the new millionaires, the 100 millionaires, because they're like maybe like even like 10 mil would like allow me to be okay, but at some point like. You got to be real frugal. You got to be real careful with that.
So adding and throwing another wrench into the plans here. So let's say you win $1 billion in the lottery.
Okay.
You take 100 mil of that and you're good, and the rest can go to family and friends and charity.
Well, so what that would turn into is like the pie chart for the give it away to charity is going to be very small.
So
not
scale
part
it.
No, I mean like. Won $1 billion. I mean, I'm still gonna make sure that I'm okay because I don't want to work.
That's the question. Though. The question is, where are you okay? Where do you say I need this much and the rest? I'm fine. Or does it ever get to that point where you push the money away?
It should.
I think like 500. If it was $1 billion, if I won $1 billion, like 500 mil. I can't see myself needing that much more. To where so 600.
Well, listen. First of all, nobody needs $500 million.
Yeah, nobody needs that much. But I think at that point, like I really 500 mil is probably definitely my tipping point. Of like, what the hell am I doing?
What are you gonna do with $500 million? And again, this is not money that's going to charity. This is just your money.
Your money.
I don't gotta work. My friends are taken care of. I'm traveling wherever I want to go. It's Tuesday. I'm going to New Zealand.
He's living in a different area code.
Different area
country
code, time
every day.
zone, any day of the week.
He's buying every hotel he stays in.
I'm watching Lord of the Rings while in New Zealand, while flying to New Zealand on my private jet.
He's gonna buy the whole cast of Lord of the Rings and have them recreate
to reenact like the first movie.
Yeah. So I guess we have a number for you.
I think
500 mil.
500.
Okay. Matt is living the lavish life. Matt, I could not spend $500 million in probably 500 lifetimes. Luis.
So mine was a little bit more realistic, but it was up there. I was thinking 200 million.
200 million. What's about
realistic?
Your needs?
What about my needs?
So $200 million.
I want to take care of myself. I want to take care of my family, obviously, right? A little bit of travel, not as luxurious as Matt over here, spending a different day everywhere, but.
This is just you. We're not talking about your family. So you specifically.
Well, me.
The rest, if you want $1 billion, you say, hey, this is mine. The rest I'm giving away to my family. The rest I'm giving away to charity. So what part of that pie do you take?
See, and then it would be a lot less. It would probably be 50 million that I would take, right?
Okay.
Car, house, but
broke ass.
But a lot of it. No. A lot of it too is just. The reason why I'm still in the career path that I have is like I've noticed I can impact a lot more people. I've realized that impact, the being the pioneer, someone laying the way.
Sure.
So I want to prepare myself and get to the point and provide those resources for others. And that's going to be my money that I dip into and I give back. I know it shouldn't be. But
that's the whole point of this, Luis. We're trying to the money. You don't have to be.
So someone else is going to be.
Yeah.
But I want to be that. Type
no, I'm
of person.
saying you
like,
have this $1 billion is still yours. So
yeah.
when you get the itch to give to charity, take it from that other 950 million, like, or whatever you decide. Like, what part of that do you need?
Do I keep? I mean, the cars.
Guys, how much is a luxury? A luxury car is not going to cost you more than $500K.
Well, now it depends on the car. I think the most expensive car is like 1.2 mil.
Yeah, but are you going to try to buy the Guinness World Record
of cars?
No, you probably just want. You guys are probably both thinking of really nice cars that you want, and they're probably closer to 250 to 500 than
but
multiple millions. Of
and
dollars.
then a listing in
But I gotta get a mechanic who can fix the car. I gotta get really good tires.
I don't remember. Like my little sister and I were looking at houses while we were in Miami for our trip. We were looking at the houses right on the beachfront. Like those houses are in the millions.
Oh yeah, that's Miami.
Yeah, so I'd like a house in Miami. I'd like one in San Diego.
Oh, he wants to be a
it.
landlord, so he wants to keep the money going.
No, because those are gonna be my houses.
I just want to be live
I want to be able to go over here and I want to go over
there.
there. I love the ocean and have a house on the ocean front.
No, I respect that because that's part of what I would use my money for. But so let's get a final answer from you. Not dipping into your personal amount to give to charity because you have
split the
charity
difference.
money.
I will split the difference. I'll say like 100 mil.
So we went up.
Yeah.
No, because I started off at 200
Okay.
and I went down to 50 and now we're splitting the difference so that I can make sure.
I'm more curious. What amount do you say, Adonis? That you
What
can
am I?
live
So
off
this
of?
is what I would.
$1.2 billion.
$1.2 billion. What I would need for myself, I like Luis. I want a house on each coast. I want a house in LA and I want a house or not a house. You don't get houses in New York. I want a brownstone in New York. I want a penthouse in New York. I want to be in New York City. I want to have a house on East Coast.
You want to be out in Jersey?
Coast. No, I don't want.
Why would you?
I want a really nice.
No,
like
man,
I
I'm
said,
rich. Okay,
I really want a really nice penthouse in Manhattan or in Brooklyn, like somewhere like in the city. And I want to on the other side. I want one in LA. But then bear with me here. I want a third one, but somewhere not in one of those big cities. I don't know where, but I would want somewhere where if I just needed to get away from civilization, because I'm a city boy, right? I love being around people.
You do.
And when I say that, I love the option to be around people. I like cities. I'm not the kind of guy who's going to go live in the woods. So I need to be around metropolises. So I need somewhere where I can get away from that. So I would really want a really nice house in somewhere obscure where I could just go off the grid if I wanted to. So 3 houses, let's say $2 to $4 million each, maybe $2 million for the lower one. And we say, $5 million for each on each coast. Like I don't need the best penthouse in New York. Like I need a nice house. I need a nice brownstone. You can get a nice brownstone in New York for $5 million. You can get a nice house in LA for $5 million. I don't need the best. I'm not trying to have a 50 rooms mansion or anything.
Okay.
I just want a nice house.
You want it fireproof though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Too soon. And so that's let's add that up. So let's just split the difference like Luis did. Let's say $4 million each place. That's $12 million right there for my houses. Once I have a house, like I'm chilling. Like I would want to maybe put $2 to $3 million into a business, like into some sort of maybe studio that I could use. So I'd probably be good with $20 million, I think.
That's kind of close.
Like maybe 25.
All right.
Like if I'm thinking about it, I'm not gonna live forever. Like
You don't want anything to like a jet,
No,
your
I don't
own
want a
jet or anything.
So where am I going?
Car.
Where am I? I have my house.
To your 5 houses is where you're going.
To my 3 houses, Matt. 3 houses. Like if I'm like.
You don't want to travel.
You
or
drive into LA?
I'm saying
from New York to Los Angeles.
No, but I don't need a private jet. Like I'm fine flying commercial.
You got $1.2 billion. You're gonna fly commercial?
Yes, man.
Wow.
I don't need to fly.
Wow.
I don't need my own jet.
Somehow I call bullshit.
Well, what about travel? Like you don't want to go visit the UK or.
Yeah, how much? But where am I staying?
You're gonna go buy the castle
Like,
that they filmed your favorite movie series at?
No, I don't need to buy a castle. No,
I'm saying,
I guess that's
with
fair.
$1.2 billion, you can buy a castle.
You can, but do you need to?
No, you can buy.
Are you gonna do it just because?
I mean, hey, there are some people that do.
Yeah, you can buy a castle for a lot cheaper though.
Let's get those prices down, baby.
So let's say ultimately, I would probably let's kick it up a little bit just because like I wouldn't. But again, it's just me and my family. Like the rest of the money is gonna go to my family and friends and charity, so it's not like I have to worry about helping out my family because they're going to be taking care of what the other the rest of the $1 billion. So if it's just me, honestly, yeah, I would say like 50 million would probably be more than enough for me.
Okay.
Like taxes, so after taxes, I guess. So what?
Yeah.
100 million before taxes?
Probably.
Yeah. But I could live off of $50 million for the rest of my life easily. Like I would not. Otherwise, I'm just spending money on stuff I don't need. That gets me a movie theater in my house. Like I'm chilling.
You're reaching out to Warner Bros. I need you guys to send me the next release of that film directly to my home theater.
Dolby 3D over there.
Right?
Yeah. No. I'd be fine with 50.
50.
I'd be fine
Okay.
with 50
I mean, hey.
after tax. And that's probably pushing it. That's probably like more than I actually need.
Hey, I was combining me helping you guys with my 500 that I was saying.
Yeah.
I clarified it 50 times.
I know
for
you
man.
did, but I'm like, I still got to make sure that I got a little bit extra to help out my friends and family.
But you gotta know, like Matt games a lot, so
Gaming is
There's
just
not a
expensive.
game you cannot.
you can
I can
So
buy
I-
stock into Sony. I can buy stock into...
no, but he's gotta have his gaming desk. So you start that off at $500,000, and then you bump it up to about
I got to make my
20
room
mil.
the Batcave at some point in my life.
Yes, I don't know, man. You guys are just you guys have higher, more luxurious lifestyles than I have in mind for myself.
it's
I guess.
costs. And truthfully, I think it is just like that spending. You get into your own habit. So you either started off saving and you are realistic with what
Yeah.
you're going to spend and how much you're going to need, or that extra income you go and you spend it around.
Yeah, I mean, I think you have rainy day money, right? Like you put
Oh,
a
yeah.
little bit away,
Yeah.
but
And you need a chill $1 million for that rainy day fund.
you need a few. Like I would say,
scared.
you want to put. I wouldn't need it. So I don't want to get too much into this, but like I would 50 for myself. I'm cutting up the pie, right? 50 for myself for what my needs are. I'm probably tucking 100 mil away that I'm not gonna spend unless I need to. So
It should be never.
So he took
Pushing it
150.
away.
So he's in between you and I.
But again, I'm not using it unless I need to. I'm not adding that into my expenses.
Oh, okay. So you took 150 mil of the 1.2.
See, and I did that with the 50 that I kept.
No lawyer fees. You never know what's gonna come up.
That's true. You never do. You never
Free.
know.
Or at least for me, it's free.
Amar punches a small child. Next thing you know, you got a whole lawsuit on that.
Exactly. All right, so that'll wrap up my conversation topic. We're gonna jump into a quick break, but on the other side of it, we have more quality conversation for you guys. So stick around. We'll be back.
So George Foreman passed away this past Friday, guys. Passed away on March 22nd, 2025 at the age of 76. And just to start off, I think that we all, in one way or another, have a connection with George Foreman. So, in Mexican culture, he went, the one time he went to the Olympics, it was in Mexico. So my name is Luis. My dad's name is Luis. So I'm technically Luis Jr. And my little brother's name is Luis. He kind of followed the trend of what George was doing with his sons, naming them George.
And his daughters,
Yeah.
Georgina.
Yep.
Yep.
But that wasn't the only thing. It was like his story was kind of like, he started off rough. He had to do what he had to do. He was a fighter through and through. And then for the second half of his life, he reinvented himself, started over again. I know, Matt, like one of your hobbies, one of the things that you love to do is boxing, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So like, was George Foreman a big part of that world when you were growing up boxing?
Yeah. So one of the biggest things about my connection to him, again, my love of boxing and the fact that I also help coach it at my current gym, is as you get, one of the most common sayings is boxing is the young man's game. George Foreman is somebody who broke that mold, winning the heavyweight title at 45, which when you look at that fight, everyone was like, there's no way the guy that you're going up against is 22. He's gonna mop the floor with you. But George Foreman was George Foreman and took him out. So as I get older, it brings up this like, man, I'm getting old. Do I just only coach? Do I only focus on? Do I give up the dream of wanting to compete? But then I'm like, you know what though, and George Foreman did it, and I know I'm not George Foreman, but George Foreman wasn't George Foreman until he did it.
Exactly.
So not saying I'm going to be anywhere near that level, but it makes me like, it makes sense. I can agree in my heart that I'm like, I can keep going. So when George Foreman passed on Friday, that really did hit me very heavily because I was like, man, that's one of the greats.
Yeah,
and he's just gone.
Adonis, did you have any like sort of connection with George Foreman growing up?
I can't really say that I did. I didn't. We didn't really follow boxing too close, and obviously that was way. I was born in 1990. He was probably retired by then, or close to it. So he definitely wasn't someone who was like very prominent in my life or in my household. Obviously, you respect him for what he was able to do. You respect anybody who steps in the ring and puts their body on the line. Bout after bout. I think that's just a very honorable thing and a very brave and courageous thing. But no, I can't personally say that George Foreman made a big impact on my life. Like I said, I respect him for who he was and what he did. Have one of his grills.
Yeah. So, but that's the other part of it too. Is like at 76, I feel like he's accomplished so much.
Yeah.
Right. He was able to turn his life around. He was able to box and then became a minister. But on top of that, the entrepreneurship of being able to build a business, sell it, and live off of it. Like we were talking about how much money would be enough money, right?
Yeah.
So do you think he accomplished enough? And with that, like, do you guys have anything that you want to accomplish because technically, like, this is our middle age, right? We're middle aged right now because if he only lived to be 76, like we're
crazy to think about,
we're halfway there.
Yeah.
Damn, I gotta have my midlife crisis.
Yep.
I realize
So
kind of, but if you think about it, like how much do you remember from like 1 to 10? So those first 10 years don't really.
So like 40,
count.
43, 44. Let me like go buy a chopper. Okay.
Exactly.
but then how much are you gonna be doing from like 60 on? Because your body's gonna be worn.
But you're conscious of who you are, and look at George Foreman.
Exactly.
He was doing a lot after his 60s. So
yeah. So your question is, do I feel like George Foreman accomplished a lot?
Enough?
I think so. And also this has been a conversation that like Adonis and I've had privately before is like, you get so, I think humans get so scared about like, do I make an impact in the world? Do I have enough time? Like when I die, I don't want to just be another human, another person that just passed.
Yeah.
And I think that puts on a hell of a lot of unnecessary stress on life. Already is very, very stressful. I would even go as far as to say sometimes it just sucks.
Yep.
But as long as you can, at the end of the day, think that you had a good impact on the people around you, or even the bonus is people in the world, I think that is in itself a good life. And I think George Foreman definitely hit that. I think he definitely did. Again, the entrepreneurship of the Foreman Grills and just in the boxing community itself, he had a really, really great impact. So I would say yes. I think he did lead a very successful life in that regard.
Yeah, I mean, he's an icon, right? He's someone who will be remembered. He did a lot for the sport of boxing. He will be remembered. He's an icon of the sport. So I do, to the sort of flip side of what Matt was just saying, like I do believe that we're all put here for a purpose. Yes. I think we need to find out I think our life should be spent figuring out what that purpose is and ultimately trying to accomplish or push forward in that purpose. I do think it's important to at least try to make an impact on
your world around
on maybe not the world, but your world. Yeah. I do think there's more to life than just enjoying life. I do think we all need to strive to be something. Like that's just me personally. Like I think enjoying life and being happy and having fun is a huge part of it, but I don't think that's all of it. Like, I don't think that's all we're here to do. Yeah. I think that boils back down to, I think we're all here for a reason. And again, we owe it to ourselves to find out what that reason is, and we need to work at that. So I respect anybody who finds their calling. I respect anybody who finds their craft and who finds what they're here to do and who pushes forward in that. So absolutely, like, I'm not expecting everybody to be Gandhi, but I do think we all, again, we have to strive to push forward and strive to find out what we're here for. And I think he definitely checked those boxes.
Yeah. So I echo you on that. And I definitely think that, everything happens for a reason. Mm-hmm. We have a purpose. we're connected in one way or another.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why I chose him. That's why, so recent, but it's still impactful. And to go off of that, like, you really don't know your purpose. Down to it, there's no book, there's nowhere in life that says you are an electrician and you're gonna, be there just to do that. No,
Sure.
you find your passion, you create your passions. But that shouldn't stop you from wanting to, like, move forward, help other people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and because there's no rhyme or reason to it that we know, I think you have to look at each day as, like, what are you going to do? What can you do? And if you fall, if you make a mistake, if you take a couple steps back, or if you have a fun day or a bad day, right? Like, say life has been hitting you hard, like Matt said, sometimes it sucks. Sometimes you need that day to just de-stress, do something stupid, do something crazy. Don't go too crazy. Don't go killing people. But you need a way to just have a day where it's like, okay, this was enjoyable. And on the offside too is, like, we got to build for something. Like, you probably the biggest forward for us is that you have a life that depends on you. You have to build that forward for them. Yeah. You want them to have a great life, just like my parents here. And my parents wanted us to have a great life. That's why they took the risk. That's why they came to the U.S.
Yeah.
And if they hadn't, I wouldn't be here. They wouldn't be where they are. And we wouldn't have been so successful, had as many opportunities to experience life.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people realize that it is just a bit of a blessing.
Yeah.
To go off of that, though, like, what are some of the things that you guys want to accomplish? Just like he did. He had great accomplishments. And I kind of want to set goals for us right now.
Ooh.
I know, it's scary. But no, it'll be a good thing to help each other kind of go towards those. They don't have to be lifetime accomplishments, but it can be something that you want to accomplish this year, within the next couple of years, or maybe it is a lifetime accomplishment. Have you guys thought about what you want to do for yourselves?
Yeah, no, I definitely have some things that I think ultimately I want to accomplish, but I think it's like you said, like, there's no book, right? So there's no definition of who you are and what you will be or what you're supposed to do. I believe in a purpose, absolutely. Do I think I found that purpose? I think I found a few of them, but who's to know if that's what my true calling is? I have things that I'm going to work toward. I think I found what I'm supposed to do with my life, and that's what I'm trying to push forward, and that's what I'm trying to do. Like you mentioned, I have a family, so that's got to be at the forefront of everything that I do, is taking care of my family, is being there, whatever that means, emotionally, financially, whatever being there for family means, like ultimately that's what I strive to be, is a good person and a good father and a good husband. There are personal goals that I have. I don't know.
And they can be simple goals. They don't have to be like change the world. It can be
yeah, exactly. Like I have
on Tuesdays, you do the laundry instead of
yeah. I mean, that's the thing though, is like are those goals or are those just things that you do? Like are they? It's like
you're doing them because you want to just help out.
Laundry definitely isn't going to be on that list because I don't.
You don't want to do laundry to help out. Like, you want to be a better father. You want to set the example.
I mean, just doing laundry, being a better father.
It connects.
Like, I mean,
it connects.
I think you just those are things you have to do. No. But
yeah.
I get what you're saying. Yeah. I just think that it's short. It's hard for me to make short-term goals because my life is so hectic in the fact that my time is not dictated by me. Like I can't just say, hey, I'm going to do this because my life is not really mine right now with a 2-year-old. I'm on her schedule. I'm on her time. I work and then I'm off work and then I'm dad, so, that's why I love doing podcasts. Like that's why I love, you know, having this creative outlet. That's why I produce podcasts, because I love, you know, giving people the opportunity to share their stories, to get their ideas out, to share their voice. That's a part of what I think my calling is to help people share their stories. So I think ultimately that's what I want to try to focus on, at least for the moment, because again, that's my driving force. That's my purpose. That's what I think I'm going to be able to impact the world with, my world with, is helping people share their voices. So that's what I'm focused on now. So yeah, there are things that I want to do with this platform. There are things that I want to do with this space that I have to help other people share their voices. So yeah, I definitely have goals. I definitely have things that I think that I'm going to push forward with. But yeah, ultimately, like I said, I don't know if that's it. You know, all I can do is try to find my purpose, and that's the most important thing, is just not giving up, I think.
Yeah. Well, and I'm going to help you out here. Like, there's going to be material goals that we can point out, and sure, every little bit helps. So, like, I think one of your goals could be, you know, this is our first episode, right? Let's get 3 shares, 5 likes. There's 3 of us here, so come on. No. And to bring it back to like more realistic things, is like, I'm 34 years old. I live in a traditional Mexican household. So by the end of the year, I want to make sure that I'm completely financial and independent, and I've paid off everything I need to. And that's the end of the year, to set myself up for my next step. And
where does this blur with, like, not to criticize, but like, what's the difference between like something like that and a New Year's resolution, which we all kind of scoff at and laugh at?
I mean, a New Year's resolution, you hit it going at the end of the or at the beginning of the year, right? And it's like, and that's on you, and you can have accountability. But for us, like, you're putting it out here. This is on us. You have a witness that's gonna be like, and you can have witnesses on your New Year's resolution. But like for us, like I've gone and said it, and it's on recording. Like,
that's true.
I can't take it back.
Yeah.
Now a New Year's resolution, hey, I'm gonna work out every single day of my life. Well, things get in the way, like you said. Yeah. So
fair enough.
And there's no video proof that you said that.
Yeah, exactly. So no,
one of our listeners gonna show up at the door like, hey,
why aren't you working out?
You financially stable or what?
Time's up. More props to them that they were paying attention since day one. So
do not show up at my door.
If you want the address, just email me. No. So, but then like later on in the line, like I want to support you with your goal to be able to help out with different podcasts, right?
Yeah.
And so just understanding what kind of stories you want to tell, like, and every story is impactful. It means the world to the individual that's saying.
Yeah.
So to be able to listen, to know a bit more about Matt, to know a bit more about myself, and I'm going to share. We're going to get down to stuff that, like, you know, our friendship has been around for 12 years, 13.
Yeah. And
there's still stuff that we can dig into that we didn't know. Like,
absolutely.
Matt being born in Virginia, maybe you said it once before, but I forgot.
Yeah, that, and we grow. We're constantly growing and changing and evolving. So for sure. Yeah. Matt, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely do have goals. I think everybody has like those ones. Again, new year, new me.
Yeah.
And I always say, if you say it, I believe in you. Do it.
Yeah.
Don't let anybody who says, "Oh, of course," man, fuck them.
Yeah.
I think for me, one of the biggest things that I want to try and hit this year is trying to be in a few more boxing competitions. Because again, being 34. I'm sorry, 33.
See, you did it too.
I did it too. I gotta remember, I'm younger than you old dudes. It's definitely something I'm really aiming towards, but I'm also on the coaching side. It's been really fun helping a lot of kids learn the intricacies of boxing. And I've been doing a lot more coaching, which I think I would like to see one of my kids win the Gene Lewis tournament this November.
See, and that's a great accomplishment for you and for the individual, and it's a great goal to help out.
Yeah, and I never thought I was going to be a coach. I just thought I was a dude who just liked boxing.
Yeah.
And I think I've been toying with the idea of wanting to start Twitch streaming.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I like the idea. We podcast. I'm comfortable in front of a camera and talking.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking like, man, look, I don't know if it's going to work in the first year. It might not work in the first 5 years. But if it's somewhere where it's like, hey, now you're making enough money to where you don't have to work, thank God.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Yeah.
Are you going to be able to multitask? Play and talk?
Oh, yeah. No, I do that all the time.
I would
man.
say, yeah, Matt, that's sort of that's your everyday life, you know, 'cause you generally play games where you're playing with other people. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
So,
and and again, I'm like thinking in my mind, like, why not me? I think that's kind of what you have to do when you have dreams. Why if this person could do it, why can't I do it?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So, and again, anything that gets me out of having to work for the 25 years for a company where I'm not the boss of myself.
Yeah, that's the goal. That's everybody's goal. I feel like is to be your own boss. Like everybody.
All right, man. So those are two great ones. Like, let us know. Keep us posted on like your boxing every day, and then like the first tournament you guys go to, like we'll be there to support. And then
whoa.
I'll be there to support.
It's like $10. I assume you guys can spend $10.
That's the question. Do you want us there? I've had friends who've been in competitive sports, and they like, please don't come.
Yeah, no, I don't want you guys there. Absolutely
Come on.
If one of my kids is competing, I'll be like, yeah, you can come watch my kid compete.
That's fine too.
Do I want you guys there? No, I do not.
Why not?
I don't know what it is. And it's probably just a little bit on the goofy side. And to say it now with the camera looking at me, it feels real goofy. But it's like the me that's in the ring is not the me that's here right now. I'm trying to, my coach says it all the time. I don't want to hurt you. I just need you to fall down for 10 seconds. And that's like everything that in boxing or in any martial sport, that you're like, I feel bad that you have to see me in this light where I am really trying to take somebody down. And I don't like to have that persona out there. Like, I know I can be like a very like, very aggressive person, like verbally. Like I'll be like, fuck you or something like that.
Sure.
But like, this is like me actually physically swinging on somebody. And something about that is like, I just don't want my friends to see that side of me.
So do you feel like you have that struggle with your duality all the time, or is it just in the ring when you have a goal to accomplish?
I think it's solely in the ring.
Okay.
It's solely when I'm in the ring, and it's like, outside of it is like I'm, the goofy nerdy dude, but in there it's like, no, I'm really trying to make someone fall down to the ground, and I'm really trying to make someone not get up for 10 seconds.
I mean, if you're in control of it, I don't think it would be scary, because you're saying right now that you are in control of what you're doing in there. So
yeah, it's a weird perception, because again, like I said, it's like I can be right here, but then the guy that's in there is not the guy. Like, I'm not trying to joke with you. I'm trying to punch you in the mouth.
But it's mutual, right? It's not like that guy's like,
exactly.
So I think that's what I think. I mean, I totally understand that part of it though, because like I said, I've had friends who have done sports or competitive things, and they're like, it's just the added pressure of having people there that I know personally.
And if I get my freaking block rocked and I gotta look at you guys, hey Matt, damn it, why are you guys here?
That part of it I get for sure.
So I guess we'll watch the video then.
Yeah, if I record it.
If he wins.
Yeah, if I win. If I don't, I'll just say, it was a good time, guys. How did the fight go? Well,
all right. Well,
how about you? You're not going to get out of this.
What's your goals,
what's your goals?
Realistically, like I've told you guys, but so just to give a little bit, I don't want to dive into my career as much. I know that we're going to have future days, but where I'm at the lower middle ground to the end of the career path. Right? It's like there's 2 more steps. So I do want to become a director. I want to be able to go to different locations, be able to help them out and help them grow. And set the example in the company that I'm with, and I won't say.
Sure.
But the executive team, executive leadership, there is no Hispanic person, right? There's no one up at the top. And so a lot of what I've been doing behind the scenes at my work is just connecting with people to show that like you can even make it to where I'm at right now. It's like it's not a starting job. There is a career path. You can grow from it. And later down the line, there's going to be things that, like you said, we were talking about what's a livable wage.
Sure.
So, I mean, this was off too, but $20 isn't minimum wage. $20 is okay. And how do we increase that? How do you get more out of it? Well, you have to be the people to get to the top first and make those decisions.
That's true.
Until you fight your way through and you learn it from the inside out, you can't really call someone out because you don't know how it operates. So that's going to be my like career goal. That'll be my accomplishment. On top of that, like I'd love to later down the line, and later down the line is like 3-4 years, which is a little tough, right? But I want to get started up with my own family. My parents were a little bit older when they had me. I know that it's something that I can do, and it'll be where I'm more stable, where I want to be. And I want to have a couple kids, you know, 1 or 2 kids.
When you have the kids, can I call you Papa Louie?
Sure.
Awesome.
I don't get the reference, so okay.
I just want to be able to call you Louie.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, one of the nicknames used to be King Louie. Yeah, so that's fine.
And I'll just tell your kids, I'll put on Jungle Book and be like, this is your dad. This was him in his 20s.
Yep.
Ooh, ooh.
You know, all fursuit and everything.
Yep.
No pants. Run around. No.
That's cool though. Yeah, and I think that's a lot of people our age. That's something that they need to hear, because I think a lot of people, and it's just, I think it's a millennial thing that like you feel sort of not pressure, but I guess it is pressure from your family, from the older generations to settle down and have kids. But I think millennials have pushed back against that. Like, hey, we don't need to be who you were at this age. Like, we can do what we want to do, follow our own pace. You know, we can get to where we want to be the way we want to get there. And I think obviously the older generation has issues with that because for some reason they just can't understand, you know, alternate ways of living.
Exactly.
But I do think that's a lot of millennials specifically have feel pressure to do that. And I think when you get to a certain age and you're not at that point where you're not married and you don't have kids, it's like, oh man, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? And it's like, well, just like the last thing you want to do is force it. The last thing you want to do is settle down with someone who you don't know that well, or who isn't the right fit, because then you're just going to be potentially hurting your future children.
Yeah, and maybe that's not what they want either.
Yeah,
that's the other part of it too. Is like people have to be aligned.
Yeah, at our age though, I think you will get those opportunities, because the other side of it, you know, whoever that may be, might feel the same pressure you're feeling, and then it's like, we got to do this now.
Yeah. You know? I think there's like 2 big factors into it. One is like when you're the last like 2 single people in your friend group, like Luis and I are, and it's like, because you and Sesmus.
Oh, okay. You're saying the 4 of us.
Okay.
Okay.
The four of us.
I was like,
the 4 of us, it's like, holy crap. Like, you know, and then again, in the majority of our friend group, there's only like 3 or 4 of us who don't have kids.
Yeah, now that I think about that, you're right.
And then another part is cultural.
Yeah,
being
heavy.
Latino, my mom has been pushing that on me. Like, Matt, when are you going to go find a girl? Like, let's just, like, you know, you should be going out to bars, try to meet as many girls as you can, because I want grandbabies.
Yeah.
But she didn't want you drinking at the bar.
No.
She just wanted you going out.
She just wants me to go out so I can go meet somebody. And it's like, I'm not opposed to that. But I also know where I'm at right now. I'm too selfish to want to have someone mess up my quote-unquote ecosystem. But I know if you find somebody, it's like, oh, no, they don't mess it up. They add to it. Yes. However, I'm going to stand on the line of, I'm still too selfish to where I just like what I do right now.
Yeah.
But it does add a lot of pressure when you're just thinking constantly like, damn, I got my mom and my dad. When are we going to get the grandbabies? Yeah. You're looking at your little brother, and he's got his beautiful little kid. And again, all of our friends. And
she's 5 now, by the way. Like, that is nuts.
Is she 5?
She's 5. So that's the big gap between myself and my youngest, the little sister. So, like, it's not going to be a similar structure to what my brother grew up with, because he was the middle child. No, like,
weren't we there for the first birthday or the second birthday?
I think it was the third.
I remember.
Because I missed the first 2.
Oh my gosh, dude! Freaking 5 years old.
Yeah.
Jeezums. Yeah. But yeah, so I totally understand that, like, you're trying to set a understandable, because no one also wants to be the 55-year-old dad at the baseball games.
Exactly.
Doesn't mean you can't be.
Doesn't mean you can't be. You know.
Not to downplay anybody. If that's how life goes out for you, there is no written path of you should have kids by this age. Yeah. Let me tell you something. I did have that thought. What was that movie? Tick, Tick, Boom came out.
Yeah.
Absolutely shattered me, because in the sense of when he sings the song 3090.
Yeah.
And I was like, at 30, I totally thought I was going to be a detective. I was going to have a wife and 2 kids, the white picket fence.
Yeah.
The night of my 30th birthday, I was just sitting in my PJs like, wow. And And I think it was
stuck
during
at home.
COVID.
Yeah, it was COVID.
It was during COVID, so it was like I couldn't even go to be with my friends. I'm just sitting in my room, just like, yeah, this is not where I thought I would be.
Yeah.
And then as you get older, it just kind of like it gets a little bit more of a dig in you, but take your time. Find somebody that you always can grow with.
Yeah.
But again though,
I think that's
that
the
pressure
lesser.
is rough.
Yeah, that's the lesser of. I don't want to say two evils, but that's the lesser of. I'll just use the analogy. I don't mean it, but that's the lesser of two evils: being a 55-year-old dad versus settling down with someone you're not compatible with and having kids with them. I think if you had to choose between one or the other, choose to be the 55-year-old dad.
Yeah.
Because at least that child came into a loving household that was ready for them.
Yes.
Versus like, oh, we just need to have a baby because we're tired of the pressure from our parents. Like nobody wants to be born under those circumstances.
Honestly, it'll bring some nice experiences too. You never know.
And also not to say that if you were born under those circumstances, you can't have a regular, normal, loving life.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like, that can happen, but again, I just think that that's not the best umbrella to have a child under. I'm not saying it can't work, but I just think that there are better ways to go about having a kid.
I'm gonna find like a terrible nickname that references you being a pressure child. But yeah, no, for sure, you can do it.
But cool, solid topic, sir. Yeah. We are going to. I did have not necessarily another topic of conversation, but you guys, we picked a really good time to start this podcast because you guys both had some pretty cool experiences that you just had, a few days in Matt's case, and a few weeks before for Luis, before we started recording. So I want to get into those. I didn't do anything exciting, but
what do you mean?
I did just finish watching two of arguably, we're only in March here, folks, and I think I've already seen the two best shows of the year. So I'm going to do that because that's the least exciting part of this three-way conversation, and then we'll jump into yours. And also because this is topical. By the next time we record, this will probably be old news. But we're going to start out with a show called Adolescence that's on Netflix. I'm not sure if you guys have heard about it. Stephen Graham and Jack Thorne. It's a British show. It takes place in a London town, and it's about a 13-year-old boy who is accused of murdering one of his classmates. Each episode, there's 4 episodes. It's a mini series. Each episode is a one-shot. And it's, for those of you who aren't movie fans out there, a one-shot is basically a one-take episode or project. So no cuts. You're following the characters in real time. There's no jumping. There's no the next day. It all happens in that moment. So they're 45 to an hour minute episodes. So each episode actually takes up that much time. So, and it's less about, because you find out very early if he did it or not. So it's not a whodunit. It's not like a mystery in that regard. You find out very early if he did it or not. So the rest of the episodes are about the fallout of this crime, the impact it has on the community, the impact it has on the school, the impact it has on the families. So I don't want to say anything to give it away, even though, like I said, you find out really early whether he did it or not. But it's just a really powerful show. Has some of the best acting that I've ever seen, period, movie or TV show. Stephen Graham is incredible in it. He's a writer, creator, and he stars as the 13-year-old boy's dad. He's Stephen Graham. I know he's not a household name, but he's definitely one of the best actors to come out of Britain. First thing I saw him in was in a movie called This Is London. But he's had minor roles in a bunch of stuff. Matt, you probably would recognize him from you probably would recognize him from Gangs of New York. He was in, he's an incredible actor. It's a very powerful show. Very, very well written, very well directed. Like I said, the sort of novelty of the one shot doesn't wear off. It's great for all 4 episodes. You probably will cry. It's just a really, really good show. Very powerful. There's some powerful messaging in it too, that I think is very topical, very relevant to what a lot of young adults are going through today with things like social media and how it affects children. So definitely worth a watch. It's on Netflix. Like I said, it's only 4 episodes. I binged it in a night. So
45 minutes. That's easy to binge.
Yeah. So yeah, you got about
a
little under 4 hours, 3.5 hours worth of TV. Really good show. And then obviously the best show on TV right now, by a very wide margin, is a show called Severance on Apple TV.
Haven't watched it, but I've heard of that one.
If this is your call to action, Matt, watch Severance. It is it is an incredible show. I watched it. It came out in 2022, and then they finished their first season in 2022, early 2022. It was like January. Season 2 didn't come out until this February.
Oh wow!
So 3 years. There was a 3-year gap. So, and the first season ends on a crazy cliffhanger. So I cannot imagine being someone who watched it in 2022 and had to wait 3 years. I watched it like 3 months ago. Like I watched the first season like 3 months ago, and 3 months was a long wait for me.
Was there reasoning to the delay?
Yeah, it was. They cited like the pandemic was a part of it. Because they had filmed it. I think it took them a while to film it because of COVID. The writer strike happened last year or a couple years ago. Time has no meaning anymore.
Yeah, right.
But so there were a few things that happened to delay season 2. Fortunately, the director, the creators have said that there are things in place to prevent another 3-year gap. So hopefully that means they have a chunk of it filmed already or something along those lines. It has been renewed for a season 3, which is awesome because this season, while it didn't end on a crazy cliffhanger, it did still end on a cliffhanger. But yeah, it's an incredible show. If you guys out there, listeners, have not watched Severance, again, this is your call to action to watch this show. It is incredible. The premise, it's a very sci-fi type show. Not very sci-fi, it's like sci-fi reality. The premise of the show is that these people choose to have their consciousness severed. So when they're at work, they don't remember their outside life, and when they're in their outside life, they don't remember what they did at work. So it's literally like when you go into work, you walk into the elevator and as who you are on the outside, and a second later you're walking out of the elevator after an 8-hour shift at work.
Oh wow.
But the consequences of that
sounds great.
Yeah, but the consequences of that is that you created this separate personality who is literally always at work. Their entire life is work.
Oh.
Like they don't go home. They clock out for the day, walk out to the elevator, the next second they're back at work. So that's the sort of moral dilemma of the show, is that these two consciousnesses, like, they're called your work consciousness is called your innie, and your outside life is called your outie. So there's and it gets really deep. Again, I don't want to give too much away, but that's the basic premise of the show. It's incredibly well written, incredibly well performed. Ben Stiller is one of the minds behind it.
Really?
That Ben Stiller. Yeah. Ben Stiller.
Meet
Ben
the
Stiller.
Parents.
Meet the Parents.
Zoolander.
Ben Stiller, yeah. And it's not there are some comedic moments in the show, but it's definitely not a comedy. Adam Scott is the lead actor. Patricia Arquette is in it as well. Adam Scott, most people will know from Parks and Recreation. But he's been in a few different things as well. He's Step Brothers. He's Derek, the douchebag brother.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a great show. So again, if you guys have not seen Severance, please do yourselves a favor and watch it. It is an experience. It's like I said, when I watched the finale a couple nights ago, I was so excited, and I was like, man, it's been so long since I've been this excited for a TV show. Probably since like first season of House of the Dragon. Not to knock the second season of House of the Dragon, it just wasn't anywhere near as good as the first season. But yeah, it was just it was an experience, and I'm excited for season 3. Hopefully it's around next year or the year after.
2027.
God, I hope not. But yeah, it's a great show. I know you said you've heard of it, Luis. You've heard of it.
This is the 3rd or 4th time that you've told me to watch this show now, and
show.
I don't have Apple TV, but
you can get Apple TV for $5 a month on Amazon right now. This is not an ad for Amazon, but it is. Yeah, and that's a new thing. It wasn't. They just started. They just became available on Amazon recently.
totally not an ad.
Yeah. But yeah, you can also get Apple TV on Android devices now, which is also
crazy.
And I think that's
branched
probably
out.
why I haven't had it, is because for my entire life I've had an Android.
Yeah.
So, but no, it's on my list. I added Adolescence 2. I think I can knock out Adolescence today. To be honest
Adolescence is good. You'll want to finish Adolescence because it just is one of those series where you need the resolution. Again, you find out very early if he did it or not, but you need to. You sort of it pokes at you, so you're gonna be like, ugh, I need to see what happens. It's not like excitement. You're kind of just like, ugh, I need a resolution because I feel kind of icky not knowing what. Yeah.
So like for not adolescence, for Severance, I did have the question of like work life, right? Like, is that going to be intriguing? What's the draw to that?
Resentment.
Like
it's got to be resentment.
If you had to choose whether choosing an experience in one life or the other, like you're going to choose your out life, right?
Yeah, but you don't know. Like so that's
the thing, is that you don't know.
Created when you start the job.
Split.
So he has no memory of your outside. There's no shared memory. So he has no idea. You don't know if you have a family on the outside. You don't know if you have a wife. You don't know if you're friends with the people you're working with. You have absolutely no idea what your outside life is like. Yeah, it's literally just you and your coworkers. Okay. Yeah, it gets crazy.
Sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah, there are some moral dilemmas that come up where you're like, oh man, that's crazy. I never thought about that. But yeah, I don't having watched the show. Because when I first started it, I was like, oh, that'd be kind of cool. Like I would never have to go to work again. Yeah. But then you're like, man, but that other me is literally always at work. That sucks for him.
Is stewing in the fact that he's like,
yeah. But that's all he knows. So does he hate it? I mean, he can't miss what he never had, right? Like he doesn't know what an outside life is like.
It's really reminiscent of Click. Like, you know how you can like fast forward through things you don't want to deal with? Yeah. And I'm like, I would, if I could fast forward or not remember my 8-hour shift, I would do it in a heartbeat. And now it's like, well, who's the Matt that has to go through that? Yeah. Oh, no. Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah. I definitely feel like more inclined to check out Severance.
Yeah, it's a great show. Very great show. All right, so that's what's been taking up my time over these last couple of weeks. But Luis, you were on a cruise a few weeks ago, right? How was that experience?
All right. This was a big milestone for me.
That good?
No. It was a huge milestone for me, and now I have to provide context. Mm-hmm. Like you're making me do this. So, like I said, I came here when I was 4.5 years old. Came here on a visitor's visa. And due to circumstances and everything that happened and the way it played out, I overstayed my welcome. And I'm not a citizen. I'm not a resident of the United States of America.
Oh, we're going there. Okay.
We're going there. Yeah, we're taking this back. Okay. Yeah. You forced my hand.
I thought you were going to talk about the cruise.
This is where we're going to get to it.
Okay.
But thankfully, several years ago, DACA came out. So the Deferred Action Against Childhood Arrivals, where anyone under the age of 18 at the time who was brought... No, that's not right. Anyone who was brought in under the age of 18 when they came and overstayed their welcome could apply to work, right? Mm-hmm. And so we had to go through the process of the application to become DACA recipients. Thankfully, I was able to receive that. And every 2 years, I have to reapply in order to work. So the first time that I got it, I took a shot, try to apply to the jobs that I wanted to, I'd try and live a normal American life, just like my friends. Thankfully, Matt helped me get the job there. It was one of those things that like, I just want to live a regular life. That's all I wanted. And so I applied, I got the job, set some goals internally for myself, try and make the most of the 2 years that I have. And then we didn't know what was going to happen at the end of the 2 years, right? We could either end up renewing, which is what I did, and for 12 years after, I kept renewing. So this cruise was a work-sponsored cruise. This is where a lot of... so every year we go to conferences. We go to different states. They fly us out, take care of accommodation. We have workshops. We have meetings that we get into, and then the rest of the time is networking, connecting with other people, socializing. And when we found out last year that we were going to go on a cruise for our yearly conference, I was, thrilled, excited, beyond the moon. I'm like, I've never been able to get on a cruise. You have to go into international waters. You can't really go outside of the U.S. as a DACA recipient unless you apply for advanced parole, and you have to have special circumstances in order to leave, along with the application process and fee. And you can get denied for any single reason.
Okay.
So it has to be a valid reason for you to leave the United States of America, with about an $800 fee every time that you apply. $800. Now, what I'm making, it's not that bad, but sure, it's still a lot of money. Like, it's a car payment. Yeah. So, we went through the process. I contacted legal, and thankfully my little brother is also an attorney. He's an immigration lawyer. And so we tried to figure out if I was going to be able to go on this cruise that work was sponsoring. And because it was a valid reason, it was for work, through work sponsorship, we were able to start that application process. So we applied. I didn't hear back for a good while after we had turned in everything. A month before, I was like, hey, I haven't heard back anything. How long do the advanced paroles normally take to get back to you? Well, they don't typically make a decision until like 6 to 8 months after you've applied.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so the other reasons that you can file for advanced parole is, special circumstances, immediate death of someone. But by the time that someone passes away, that they're dying. That's why you're applying. Yeah. And you can ask for an exemption and get it expedited, but that's an extra fee on top of it. So that's really how they get you when you want to leave for a certain reason or other. And then it has to be special circumstances. So we followed up on it, and a couple days afterwards, I had gotten approved to go.
Nice. Okay.
So we're traveling to Miami. We sailed out of Miami port. And the cruise going on there, like, everyone else is going through the line. And all of a sudden, I get pulled out of the line because I am a special exception, and I've been flagged by Homeland Security as someone of interest, right?
Okay.
Just because I'm not a citizen. Sure. And so I had all my paperwork ready for me to go. 20 minutes, 25 minutes, sweating it out, supervisors, then making copies of everything. Finally, we get approved to go on to the cruise. And in that moment, like, I kid you not, I feel like 20 years worth of stress just flew off the back of me.
Yeah.
To just be able to feel like I could accomplish something that for other people, for other Americans, we want to go on a cruise, let's save up a bit of money and then let's go. So just in that feeling alone, I really felt like I had made it to be able to travel out, experience that. The experience on the cruise was great. Like, it's like any other conference.
Jesus Christ! Imagine if it was sucked.
No,
God damn it!
All that work.
What's all that for?
Well, I mean, I could have been like my neighbor on the boat and gotten seasick, and they were out for the entire time just in their room. But no, it was great. It was if you've never been on a cruise, you've thought about doing a cruise, I would do it with your loved ones and be able to do it with the people that you want to connect with, have fun with, relax with, because this was a work-sponsored thing, right?
Sure.
And thankfully, my parents are on the other side of my circumstances, so they've been able to go on cruises. They've been able to experience that. They tell me, like, well, it's normally you and you do small activities, but you really want to experience this with a group of people. And I had the group of people because I've made connections.
Yeah. It was kind of forced to have the group.
Yeah, but it was the group of people that I wanted to see, connect with, spend my time with. And so we did. Like I said, it was a great thing. They make way too much food. Like, way too much food. They had an open buffet during the day for breakfast. There was a restaurant that was open 24 hours. And a lot of that was just like, you go, you're socializing, you're grabbing a couple drinks. The other part of it too is that, like, we had open bar the entire time we were there. So
yeah, that's what I've heard about cruises. It's open, like, all pretty much food and drinks you're covered.
You're covered,
Like,
yeah. Well,
don't worry about that part of it.
Yeah, and once you get to once you sail out,
Yeah.
other things open up and you're
Yeah.
able to grab some more stuff. But so it's a great experience. We had some work meetings that we had to break out into, of course. But the other part was just a lot of socializing activities that you would want to do. We spent a lot of time near the water. A lot of people were swimming or in the hot tubs. Like, I swear the hot tubs were like the hottest commodity, which is fine. You know, you just want to relax. And then at the end of the night is like karaoke and dancing. So
I've heard that it doesn't feel like you're on a boat when you're on a cruise ship.
It does not. So you get adjusted to it like in the first couple hours that you're there, right? Because your body and your internal equilibrium balances out.
Sure. Yeah.
And then if you're prone to motion sickness, you might want to take a pill. You want to do the patch. A lot of people on the ship and it's called a ship. It's not a boat. You said boat earlier. They make that big reference. I know.
It's a fucking boat. It's a vessel on the water.
Yeah. So, but they had the patches to like get the motion sickness away, or they were taking pills every day. I decided, yeah, exactly. I decided not to try any of it. I'm like, I normally don't get motion sickness. I might drink a little bit too much, and, but this is a work sponsored trip, so I'm gonna watch what I do.
Sure.
Because you really can't go anywhere if you get in trouble. Like,
yeah.
You go to the brig?
Is there a brig? Yeah, there has to be, right? There has to be somewhere to put unruly people.
I truthfully don't know if there is a brig on that ship
probably
or
a
not.
good
Like,
thing. That's probably
Yeah,
a
it's
good
probably a good
thing
thing
that
you
you don't know.
yeah. So, man,
Someone out there is like, oh, there is.
Yeah,
There's
someone's
a-
like, yeah, it's not great.
first-hand
It's
experience.
a towel
right?
closet. They're just like, damn it.
Or I guess they could just lock you in your room if they really.
That's
if
true,
you
they
really
could.
Yeah.
know. Like, where are you gonna go?
And there were people that were kind of like guided to their rooms at the end of the night. And just
Yeah.
like, okay. But no, it was a lot of fun. And to that point, like, I did connect with a lot of people on there. Part of my own, again, behind the scenes is I have a couple projects that I work and do throughout the year, not just for my own building, but for the whole company. So I was there to kind of connect, reach out to the right people, set up some meetings. I have a couple meetings next week to get the rest of the year going.
Cool.
But it was nice to like have that experience one-on-one instead of behind the screen, because they really can tell, and you can tell too, like the people that are in this industry are passionate about what they do. They want to help you. They want to help as much as they can and want to continue growing. So it was re-energizing to be around that. I know it's not everyone, but if you look for those, gems and you try and keep a positive attitude to it, like you can find it.
Sure.
So it was a overall great experience. I would love to do it again. I know I'm gonna get a chance to do it again, and I think I'm gonna be more prepared for next time. The one thing that really just shook me though at the end of the cruise, we were getting off, going through customs again, and I get stopped once more time, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is where I was supposed to show my documentation. And the officer that stopped me, he grabbed my passport, he looked at the advance parole that I had filled out, and he went and he said, "You really wasted it on this? You can get infinite amount of these. Now the advance parole lets you leave the country and then come back.
Sure.
It's a single entry return."
Mm-hmm.
And right away, I went and I told him, this wasn't a waste. It's like, you were on a ship.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't know what I was doing there.
Yeah.
You don't know what I went through to get to where I was, to go through the whole process. Like, this was an experience of a lifetime for someone like me.
Yeah.
And for you to just make it into something or make it into nothing, like,
Yeah.
who the hell are you to say that?
Yeah.
So I told him, no, this wasn't a waste. It was an experience I'm always going to hold.
Yeah.
And who knows when the next time I'm going to get to do this is. So, and I did it for my work. Like, I left the United States to be able to say that I was on the work conference, that a lot of us have to be on. Like, you can't call out. You have to have a reason to like miss these things. Yeah, it is a new place that you're going to and you're socializing, but you have to have a valid reason, like being pregnant.
Yeah. I mean, that's presumptuous of him. I mean, he's probably just, it's just,
Try to make conversation, but unfortunately,
just saying the wrong thing to the wrong
story.
person. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Like, you have no idea. Yeah.
Well, and then later on to that, like, they took me into a white room. They had me there for 20 minutes, sweating it out, waiting.
Yeah.
While they verified the documents. And I go and I look at him, and when they're finally like pulling me into their actual like space where they have the conveyor belts and the scanners and their laptop set up or computers, I had to be the one to correct him on the steps that he had to do. So this guy didn't really know much, and I took a second moment to like say, like, they're learning. They don't get the chance to witness this that often. This is a special circumstance, but I want more people to know, and I want them to have that second look. By the end of it, I think he was grateful, just in the way that I corrected him politely. I told him, hey, I need to have both. My attorney told me I have to have both stamps on this to be able to come back and have it verified. You can make as many copies as you need. Yeah. And then, I thanked him for everything. And the guy was probably around my age, and he had 4 other newer custom officers. Yeah. That were all, I heard him, like, I saw him, like, all right, then you're going to do this, and walking him through the steps of what to do. I'm like, give him a break, but don't jump to conclusions. Don't assume, like, oh, I'm here to party on a ship. Like, So that was the biggest thing, getting through that. And, like, it was a great experience, and now I know I'm capable of more, and I want to do more, and I want to also communicate, like you said, that story. Yeah. So that other people get the opportunity to do this. I know that there's going to be more other DACA recipients. There might be more immigrants or people of immigrant descent that don't know what to do. It might have to go through a scary situation like this. The more we talk about it, the more we help each other with it, the more people can experience it. It's an easier process. So that was my whole takeaway about this ship. It wasn't about like, oh yeah, I partied, or we had work conferences. I didn't win at bingo, or we did karaoke. Like, no, it was the connections and hearing some other stories too. Like, because I was approached several times while on the ship. It's like, hey, we've noticed that you've been doing this, or you taking the first step into being transparent with what you're going through has been helpful and eye-opening, and like, we admire you for that. So, I know there's a lot more scary times coming. I just got to be able to like hold to my morals, really define what I want to do, who I am, and then go from there. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. As far as like, it could have been anywhere. Yeah. But that was the takeaway. So I'm sorry if it wasn't the stories you were kind of fishing out.
A story is a story. It's, I'm glad that you had that experience and that it ended up being a positive one. Obviously, it sucks that you had to feel the feelings that you had to feel to get there, and I can't imagine the level of stress and anxiety just to go somewhere and do something that you have to do. So I totally get it. It sucks, but also it's a bittersweet story, because it worked out for you. Where I'm sure it doesn't work out for a lot of people. So,
but and it shouldn't be that way.
It shouldn't be that way. No, absolutely.
So again, the more that we bring light to it, the more that we can help each other.
Yeah.
The more opportunities more of us have down the road.
That just feels really awkward going into Matt's.
That's crazy.
Yeah, now as we go to mine, I'm like,
hey, we go to lighthearted. No, tell us about it.
Yeah, Matt. So you went to a convention last weekend. How was that? You want to give people a rundown of what the convention was?
So it's called SumiCon, which is a 18+ anime convention out in Las Vegas.
See, and sometimes you need to have the fun of 18+.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was definitely a very intriguing time because the whole conversation had started up. One of our mutual friends, Aaron, was like, hey, do you guys want to go to this like hentai convention? And I was like, what? There's a hentai convention?
For the casuals out there, can you define what hentai is?
How do I define that? It is
So save them from Googling it because they don't need to Google it. So stop. Don't Google.
I'm trying to. How do I say what it is? It's adult. It's adult anime cartoons. Like all the bad stuff you think about anime of like the big boobs and all that stuff.
Sure.
That's hentai, where it's like, okay, it's out there.
Yeah.
So the jokes were like, I was like, well, what does that vendor hall even look like? When you go to conventions, when you go to anime conventions, there's always a room where you go and buy stuff. And, you know, it can range from like really cool, like figures for characters, like action figures, great artwork from people that have drawn the characters, to like little knickknacks. What did the vendor hall look like at an 18+ convention? The second I walked in, immediately I was like assaulted with like boobs right in front of my face, and I was like, and not like human boobs,
sure,
anime girl boobs just everywhere, and I was like, this is about what I expected. It was a very unique experience. I would say it was fun. The first night I got absolutely blitzed.
Okay.
I think I drank like 6 IPAs, and then I drank like 6 beers myself, and then I was at my level of like, hey, I'm talky, I'm loose, I'm just gonna go walk around and enjoy my time.
How many people did you go with?
4.
Okay.
4 of us went.
Cool.
What were the age ranges?
We're all in our 30s.
Okay.
Yeah, which is also like another fun aspect of like we're all in our 30s, but we were not the oldest ones there.
Okay.
There was a few people who I was like, that guy's 50 plus.
That doesn't surprise me. That does not surprise me.
No, it doesn't surprise me
what's
either.
The sorry to bombard you with questions here, but what would you say was the divide, male female?
I would say it was probably 60-40.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, it was a good amount of male and female spread.
Interesting.
And I've gone to anime conventions before. At the 18+ con, I was like, wow, I'm actually kind of amazed of how tame people are.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay.
cosplay wise, there was like it was more a lot of dudes walking around in Speedos. And I was like, brother, please stop. Please. I was like, oh, well, that's a dude just rocking it in Speedos. Fantastic. But there were like a few like, I don't even want to say outlandish. There were some girls who were like wearing like the
like micro
risque.
bikinis. Okay.
Yeah, but like nothing that was like blowing me out, like not blowing me out of the water, but like nothing where I was like, oh, okay.
I'm not impressed.
That sounds so bad. I don't mean it that way at all.
No, I get
but it wasn't anything that like I didn't see at like Phoenix Comic Con.
Sure.
Because that's where you see a lot of people go crazy at that one.
Maybe it's because in that environment, there's going to be people like that at Phoenix Comic Con. If you dress suggestively, it's because you want the attention. But everybody's going to be doing it at this type of convention, so maybe they're just like, why even try?
I don't know. I mean, there was a lot of like people who are content sellers, that were there, and they were also dressed up in like the ways that they to like promote themselves.
Yeah.
But I was just like, yeah, no. On the goer side, on the con-goer side, there's a few, not a lot.
Now at cons generally, there's the vendor hall. Obviously,
yes.
I've been to a few conventions in my life, nothing like this. So there's the vendor hall, and then you have panels.
Yes.
Are there panels at this type of
convention?
There
were.
Okay.
Yes, there were. There were. So I have a local friend, Yuki, that does Arizona cons. He actually got invited to SumiCon in Vegas. Okay. So we went to those. The panels that he had were Smash, Pass, and Waifu. So waifu is, I think that's pretty explanatory, self-explanatory. Like, hey, like I want to wife this character up, or do I smash them, or do you pass them? And it was like a debate that you had to have.
Interesting.
And his other panel was Silent Library, which just a bunch of antics.
Yeah.
Great time.
Was there any? So when I say there are definitely panels like that at cons, but cons also have like Phoenix Comic Con, for example. There are actual panels where people talk about like art and like nothing like that at this convention.
If there was, it might have been taken up by and I'm not kidding, the pole dancing room, because there was. I did not attend that day, but yeah, there was. I didn't see, and it's their third year.
Okay.
So I don't think that I think they're getting established, and maybe they might go, get something like that, but
Okay.
it was never.
More just a party.
Yeah, it was. It was a party. There was a rave that I spent $150 on.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and that was rough because like we get there. So they say the rave starts at 9. We're like, all right, cool. We'll get there like 8:50, and we'll walk right in. Delayed till 10:30. So we're at the location. There's no food anywhere, and we're like, oh, we're screwed. Spent $150 for the extra for nothing.
Jeez.
Great time though. Once
Yeah.
I got in
Yeah, that's
and
good.
I got about 6 beers in again, I was like, all right, I'm here dancing.
Gotcha.
Was it like, so the 150, or was it just for alcohol, or were you trying to get in early? Was it early access?
It was early access. Yeah, because the line was really big.
That's crazy. $150 for early access.
$150 was for VIP, and I got access to a lounge that I could sit in that I used one time because my feet hurt. But yeah, no, mostly I just spent the $150 to
wait.
peace. Like later, guys, I get to
yeah.
go up. That's about it.
Man, that's crazy. But overall, worth the cost that you spent there, worth the cost of a ticket, worth the trip, worth the time off of work.
Yeah, I think that was a very fun experience. We actually talked about it. If we're not going to EVO, which is a fighting game convention in Vegas, we would probably go to this one or add it to the rotation of
cool.
our trips.
Nice.
I'm not spending the $150 again to be a VIP.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go.
Did you guys spend any time outside of the con, go to gambling, do any Vegas sightseeing? Yeah.
We had planned to, but we got so hammered on the second day that like we just any plans of us like hitting the strip died. We just stayed at the con. We drank, ate food. We had a few like food places that we wanted to go to that we hit up. But yeah, primarily we stayed there, or we just had bro moments just talking in the hotel room.
Nice.
What part of the strip was it on?
Oh man. So it was at the Alexis Resort Park. So it was like probably a mile away from the main strip.
Oh.
Nacho Daddy was really close to wherever we were. But like you could see like the MGM in Luxor, but it was about a mile off.
Okay.
It's like we could have walked it, but I was like, bro, I'm wearing boots. I'm not walking.
Fun. Sounds like a good time though. Sounds like
Yeah, no, it really
overall,
was.
a good time.
It was again. It was very. For what I thought it was, what I thought it was going to be, it was a little bit more tame, but it still was like there was some like
good.
outlandish vendor hall stuff.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
I can only imagine.
Bring
It
anything
was-
back?
I actually bought a really cool mat. That's for it's like a trackpad for my computer. Really cool piece of art. And then bought some few other things, but
We need to go into it.
Yeah. Nothing so wild, but like you got to have memories. You got to have like
Sure,
I
yeah.
went to this.
Yeah.
And that's all that it was.
Nice. Well, that's cool that it was worth it. That's
Yeah.
whenever you take a trip to something like that that's event based, you gotta I always weigh that like, oh, was it worth me making this trip? I know it's only Vegas. I know it's only a few hours away from where
5.
we are in Arizona, but it's still cool that you didn't feel like it was a waste of your time.
Yeah,
or
well,
money.
and I mean the cost of any sort of convention now, like it's been going up and up and up, and like
Yeah,
we talk about Phoenix Comic Con, and like there's been ways where I've been able to help out and get the cost reduced, but I don't think I would, pay the amount and just walk around all day.
Yeah, spend the sticker price.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why when you're going to cons like that without an agenda, like if you're just going to experience the con, like I feel like you got to make it worth it. Like,
Oh, yeah.
you got to like going there and just chilling in the vendor hall for 3 or 4 days. It's like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Like
You can have a good time doing that.
you can, but I mean,
but
what-
maybe you
was
buy a
it-
day pass. Maybe
maybe you exactly.
Yeah, maybe you didn't do
Exactly.
the full event. But
Yeah,
hey,
yeah.
to each their own.
To each their own. Have fun the way you want to have fun. All right. So we're gonna jump to one last break before we wrap things up. Thanks for hanging out with us, guys. We'll be back in just a minute.
I feel like right now in today in society, we have, you're inundated. You're seeing so many images of people living it up, traveling everywhere, your friends getting married on their 3rd or 4th kid. And you're happy about that. But I wanted to ask, do you guys think that everybody at some point should take like a 4-month social media blackout where you completely just drop all social media to give yourself a good little refresh or restart to either the new year or just to life in general.
Man,
because you do this a lot, Adonis.
You
are.
Yeah, I try to get rid of social media. I've tried in the past several times, and it always boils back down to like, oh, there are family members, there are people who I only talk to on there. We were talking yesterday on this other podcast that I produce that, we were talking about Facebook, and it's like, you don't have Facebook, or at least most people, you don't have Facebook because you love Facebook. You have Facebook honestly because of Messenger, because there's a lot of people, that's how they communicate with family. A lot of group chats. It's just there's something less annoying about a Facebook Messenger group chat than a text group chat, at least for me personally. Like that was my reason for keeping Facebook for so long. But yeah, no, I am all for social media breaks, blackouts. I got rid of all of my social media here a few months ago. And it's been great. Like it's not, I can't say it's like changed my life or anything like that, but it is just nice not to doom scroll, not to just jump on and just scroll for no reason. Like I can't tell you how many times I had opened Instagram or Facebook and just scrolled through it for a few minutes, closed it, and then literally opened it right back up to do the exact same thing that I had just done.
Yep.
It's just like, what am I doing here? Like why am I always on my phone looking at the same thing? So yeah, it's been nice not having it. It's been nice, it kind of forces you to do more productive things, which is great. But I'm not the type of person who's like, oh, I'm going to take a break from Facebook. Like I'm not going to announce it. Like I reached out to the people who I talk to on a day-to-day basis. Like, yo, if you try to send me a message on Messenger, I'm not going to be on there anymore. So text me. But if you need it to keep in touch with family, if you need it because it just makes your life easier, I think that's okay. But if you're just using it just to use it, I would definitely recommend a break, or maybe even think about getting rid of it altogether. Is it adding value to your life? That's always the question when, evaluating luxuries. And I do think obviously social media is a luxury. It's not a necessity. Again, unless it's your only way to communicate with certain people, then you may feel like it's a necessity. But, yeah, evaluate it. Is it adding value to your life? Is it causing you stress? Like you said, like, are you seeing these, your friends or distant relatives, who are doing all these great things and it's making you feel worse about yourself? Yeah. Then maybe think about a break, or, ending it all together. Social media. Whoa, that sounded dark. Think about wow. Think about getting rid of your social media. Yeah, because I do think it could be dangerous, because people like, not to get too off topic, but in that show Adolescence I was talking about earlier in the episode, that's a big part of it, is like comparing yourself to other people, and like just allowing yourself to be potentially bullied unconsciously, like, because a lot of people would consider that cyberbullying, and it's like, hey, you can avoid that by logging out, like, just close it, delete the app. So yeah, I'm totally on board with that. I think it can be healthy. I think it's necessary to take that break sometimes. And as someone who currently has been off of social media for a few months, I can say that it's not, my life isn't any worse because I can't open Instagram or Facebook. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Luis, what about you? Are you for or against taking social media breaks?
I would say based off of my own experience, and I think I might have a different experience than most other people. Yeah, you probably should. But the way I interact with social media, like I said, is not your typical like go and you're following. I keep up with a couple friends because I want to see what they're doing. I appreciate that they're going out there and doing stuff. But like for myself, I don't typically use it. I don't post as much. I mean, this is going to be the most that I've posted, for the podcast, because, it's something fun. It's something different. I think other people can take away from what we're doing.
Yeah.
And that goes to like a lot of the stuff that I do. But like on Facebook, I have about 3 years worth of photos in my phone that I've been meaning to post.
Yeah.
And I have nothing drawing me to go and post it right away.
Oh wait, you have phones on your
Photos on my
your phone that
I
are
haven't
okay. I thought
posted
you were
on
going to say you
Facebook.
have photos on Facebook that you wanted to keep. That's why you're.
Well, no, and I use it as a backup library.
Yeah,
I use Facebook as a backup library. That's all I do. But I haven't like it's a lot of. It is draining to engage with other people, you know, that you're not connecting to day to day. And I have several friends. I've made a lot of friends. I have family on there, and sometimes, you know, I'm gonna contradict myself, but a lot of the support they give is a bit toxic, right? The toxic positivity, or like they want to know more about what I'm doing. I'm like, I'm doing great. I'm taking care of what I need to. I'm doing this for myself. I'm not doing this for you. You don't need to take my story and make a thing of it, or question me, or grill me, or say how you would do it. No, this is my life. I'm gonna play it how I want, right?
But does posting on social media sort of make that like?
I think that's what it does.
Could those people say, "Well, you posted it, bro"? Like, if you didn't want anybody to comment on it, why would you post it?
Well, and I think that's what I'm kind of leading to is like when people post stuff, that's what they want. They want the attention. They want the engagement. I don't necessarily do it. That's why I haven't posted, you know, the 3-4 vacation, even the cruise. Yeah. My little sister and I took amazing pictures of us, you know, actually being engaged in what we're doing for once. And it was a fun experience. Like, I'm going to cherish it forever. Yeah. But I haven't posted about it. They don't need to know that I went on a cruise for work. And, and this is more so like, again, family, right? I'll probably turn it into a private thing, and I think my Instagram is private, to be honest with you. So I'll just do it that way. I think if you're okay with what you're doing, if you know what you're doing, you know who you are, that shouldn't be okay. I need to have a cleanse, right? Yeah. But if it starts to affect you, like you said, I see so many negative posts, negative comments, or I see someone seeking for attention and this and that, and they're not willing to have a conversation or a debate about what's going on, and a truthful conversation, not just one-sided, right? Then it can be toxic, and you should probably take a good break from it. But for me, I like to stay engaged. I like to know what's going on, and I'm a little bit nosy. I like to people watch. So like,
at least you're honest about it.
Well, and again, it's like, it's incredible. Like, you said you were going to do something, or you have something great happening in your life. I support it. Good for you. You know, cool. I'm not going to tell you how to live your life. Yeah. If I've got stuff going on and I want to post about it, great, cool, love it. Thank you. Let me know how I can help you, or if you have questions. Like, that's a lot of it. Like, same thing with like my past, my history. Like, you have questions, I might not know the answers. I know people that probably know the answers. We can figure it out together. And as far as like doom scrolling, you just have to be aware of what you're doing. Like, be in the moment. Don't just, like everything else in life, don't disengage with work, right? Yeah. If you're at work, be in the moment. Get as much work done. Don't just, I have this list of stuff to do. Okay, I'll get to it eventually. No, like, make the most of it because you're there.
Okay.
What about you, man?
It's hard. So I think for me, I end up kind of in both wheelhouses, where I do think that there are times where social media can weigh really heavy on your mental health, because you start comparing, you start seeing all the photos, and you're like, oh man, I'm not doing anything like that. Exactly. But then there's another part of, we have a friend that's across the world, and I got to watch that person fight, be in one of their first professional fights. And I wouldn't have been able to see that if I didn't have the ease of social media, or Instagram. So I do think that, yes, you might need to take a month at a time sometimes, but it really is, the benefit is like, it's in this day and age, I think it's the future. And it shows that every time, is that, how do you stay connected with your friends who leave the state or go, or do these big trips? It's social media. Yeah. So it's hard for me to say yes, like, get rid of it. And I applaud you, because you were able to completely cut off from it. But I think as someone like me, where I'm at in my life, I don't think it's ever going to be something I can get away from. Yeah. But taking like a 1 month break from time to time, or, whatever arbitrary number needs to be there, is needed because it weighs heavy on you.
Yeah, and I mean, my reason for leaving wasn't because of like the doom scrolling or whatever. My reason, because I didn't want to support, Zuckfuck anymore. Like, he's someone who I don't, I just don't like him. I don't like his political stances. If I guess just a slight deviation, I am incredibly liberal in my political beliefs, so sorry if that's a turn off for any listeners, but I just don't. So I don't, any reason I have to not support these asshole billionaires is always, I'm gonna jump at it. So like obviously I never really actively used Twitter, at least in the last 15 years. But yeah, so Meta, when all the stuff earlier this year was coming out about Mark Zuckerberg and the like homophobic decisions that he was making about his company, it was very easy for me to say, okay, I don't need to be a part of his, I don't need to be another reason why he's making more money.
Yeah.
So I know I'm a drop in the ocean, but take my drop out of the ocean.
Yeah, and well, it adds up. It
exactly.
really does add up if you're able to have this conversation.
Yeah. So that was my reason, because I do agree with everything that you said. Like, I think it can be a tool for keeping contact with people who you might not have had the opportunity to do that with in the past. I think the other side of that argument, though, is like if it's someone who you really wanted to connect with, you'd find a way outside of social media.
Fair.
People, I've heard people say it helps them stay connected to people they don't think they should be connected to, which is sort of the opposite side of that coin. It's like, why do I need to see what my ex is doing? Maybe that's not healthy. Maybe I don't need to.
Yeah, that's
maybe I don't want to be healthy.
But then if you block your ex, Matt, you look like the petty person who's
be petty. That's something about me. I'm a petty king.
Good.
Be it.
I mean, so in response to that, like I'll be 100% honest, and like I know one of my toxic traits. Mm-hmm. And when I'm overwhelmed with contact with social media, with like communications, I just ignore it all. Go a couple days, clear every single notification. So if you messaged me and I didn't reply back, we're starting over again.
Man, you can disconnect like that, though?
Yeah.
You don't have anybody who, like, you don't have a 911 or people like, oh my God, Luis, I need you.
I mean, my little brother.
Yeah.
And if he absolutely needs me, I'm going to answer it because he's my lawyer.
Yeah.
So no, kidding. But no, immediate family, and that's it. Like, if not, then they're trying to contact my mom or something, and she might not want that either, right? Yeah. So, in that sense, yeah, like I will disengage and I'll apologize. I said, hey, I need a reset.
Yeah.
Be 100%, and let's move from this point on, and I can explain why. Like, 20, 50 notifications. Yeah. It's sort of like your emails, right? You can only take so many at a time. So
yeah, I will say that now that I am a father and a husband, like I will never be able to be turn my phone off for a couple days person, because most of the time I'm here with my wife and daughter, but any moment that I'm not, I have to be able to
emergency
to be in contact with them.
Yeah.
Like it is that's one of the things where I will never be a phone off person. I can't be a phone off person again because of those two relationships. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Singular call. Like once she starts going to school and all that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
No, like, my phone's on. The ringer's on. I don't care if it's like, oh, that's very inopportune for your phone to ring. Don't give a crap. I got a kid.
We do have to wrap this up. We've been going for a long time. Good opening episode, boys. It was fun. We covered a lot. We are going to, keep riding this train. We hope you guys out there, listeners, we hope you enjoyed these conversations that we've had. I feel like we had a lot of variety. We got some entertainment, we got some funny, we got some serious. So if you guys have anything you want to hear us talk about, if you guys have conversation ideas, the best way to get in touch with us would just be to comment on wherever you're listening to this, whether that's Spotify, whether that's YouTube. Just drop us a comment. That's the fastest way to get in touch with us. If you're more old school and you want to send us a long form message, you can send us an email. The email is drinkeasyspeakeasy@gmail.com. So write in, let us know what you guys have to say. If you guys, like I said, are more old school or more long form in your replies, we'd appreciate that. But yeah, other than that, we're going to wrap it up. We're going to wrap up every episode with a toast. So since today was my my drink that was highlighted. I'm going to close out with a toast that is my go-to, what's near and dear to my heart. It's bad luck to toast with empty glasses, but hey, whatever. So, to the nights we will never remember, with the people we'll never forget. Cheers.
Cheers.